Hey, what's up, guys? Woo, how's it going? Yeah, sorry, fake out. Faked you out. I had a little issue come up, but it's all right. So, hey, guys, welcome. It's the live show. Ace in the Hole live tonight. We are talking about everything going on. This is your one-stop shop for market news, economy news, where we're going in the nation, politics, all that stuff. Going to cover it all tonight with the one and only Ham. Said he's going to drop by. So I think he'll be by around 9:15. But hope everybody's doing well tonight. Thank you for joining tonight. I definitely just been feeling this theme that, guys, we are the revolutionaries. We are. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going through, things are so crazy out there. So crazy. And the only hope is to really just start changing everything, like just breaking it all down again. Not completely, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need a new constitution or anything, but we need to, our institutions need to be reset. And so that's a little bit of the theme tonight, but we're going to talk to Ham. We're going to go through GTI, Finger, ZJYL, all that stuff. And then what's going on in the economy. Cause I think the economy is in an awful place. And so it's looking rough. Look at all these good peeps in here tonight. Robert, Pat, Linda, Husker, Cheese, Richie, Susan, Northwest, Chad C made it to alive. Congrats, sir. Queefer, BB, Coopers, Vince. Oh, UConn's playing? I get it, CJ. Go watch your team. You can come back later. I don't blame you at all. I'd be watching the Niners if it was me. Coopers, William, Joel, Pat Cicio, Kathy, John Doe, Scott Volkovich, Barbara, Vic Song. When the F is ZJL going to pop off? I wish I knew. None of this stuff. Timing is always the hardest part. When pounce on AMC. You don't want the pounce on AMC, trust me. Last time that was bad news for everybody involved. And I mean everybody. It was terrible. In fact, today, good old AA just screwed you guys so bad today. Let me pull this up right here. Look at this. The AMC filing came out. Massive dilution. And what did he do? He pulled it on the last day of the quarter. What a sneaky jerk. I tell you, Adam Aaron is one of the worst people alive. I completely believe that with all my heart. He is just a terrible person. Screwing every AMC holder in new ways every few weeks. He comes up with a new way to screw him over. It's awful. Anyways, I'm not sponsored, but I'm going to talk about Lagunitas for a second. This is a wonderful beer company. They make good stuff. So this is going to be keeping me company tonight. That's good stuff. All right. Technology, Spastic. How's it going, buddy? Who gave me that? John Doe with the $10 donation. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that. I really do. You know, it's the end of the month, so end of the month donations are my favorite because they come in right at the end. and then Google, who owns YouTube, pays me with that money at the end, and it makes me very happy to, you know, get those last little right in before the end there. That's my stock money because I don't have any extra money. All my money from this goes in my stocks and nothing else pays for it. And it doesn't pay much. I told you guys about that last night. Anyways, Sweet 16, here we go. There you go, Daniel. Who's your team? I hope Lou haunts AA. Yeah, we can hope, right? AMC has ruined so many families, so many portfolios, so many people's savings. It's awful. And the scariest part, the saddest part for me about AMC is that because it's the CEO killing them, it just removes the hope. It's completely different for me than Finger, GTI, all that, which those are battles, you know, but they're battles we're still in because the companies are not giving up. Whereas in AMC, you're just fighting a battle with, you're not only fighting for the company, you're fighting against the company. It's the worst of both worlds. It's totally awful. Straight Cash says, why do the masses allow the few to dictate how we live? Just isn't right. Well, Straight Cash, I agree with you, but I think it's changing. And that's what the revolution's all about. The Declaration of Independence states, give us a government by the people, for the people, and of the people, by the people, for the people. And that's what we were always meant to be. That was the vision of the Founding Fathers. It got taken away from us real fast. But I believe that with all that's going on and all the access to information now, thanks to the internet technology, I believe that this time, once the people get it back, they'll never let go. In the past, it was easy to hide. News traveled too slow. It was too hard to be exposed, so the corrupt could hide. That day is ending, and that's why things are getting so crazy right now, because all that's being exposed. 100% Adam Aaron's related to some scum, 1%, probably. Aaron's evil, I agree. Soldier, what's up? Victor, damn you, AA, little Lou is right about he was. That was one of the things he was right on about. Ask Ham about Adam. Ham posted about him today. Ham met Adam Aaron 2 years ago, him and his buddy, and they offered him help on how to beat the shorts, and Adam Aaron turned him down. Isn't that interesting? They have the picture to prove it. I can't believe people still defend him. It's like, what's that thing where it's like kidnappers, they get stuck and they fall in love with their kidnappers or feel empathetic for them. It's something syndrome, Stockholm syndrome. They get the AMC holders, a lot of them have Stockholm syndrome with AA, and they believe he's okay. I know Bakeman Fried sentenced to 25 years. I celebrate the fact he's going to prison. And 25 years, nothing to slouch at. He'll probably end up doing 12 on good behavior or something. But at least he's going to prison. However, he should have done a life sentence. Easy. He really should have. JD says GameStop's still in. I think GameStop has a chance. Outside chance, but I think it's there. Ocean, talking to Corey. Mario, William believes that Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Pelosi's nephew will be the ones running and beating Trump for the presidency. Biden will be him. I love William. I couldn't agree more. Listen, I have been telling you guys, telling you that they're not going to replace Biden for months now. I told you it's too late. I just know this as a political science person. They want to. Trust me, there's a lot that want to, but they can't do it. It's too late. It'll hurt the party too much. Too many people would jump over to RFK and they'd lose by even bigger. There is no hope. They are stuck with Biden. They know it, and they're pissed about it. They're pissed at him. They thought he'd step down. He didn't. I know William believes that. A lot of people believe that, but I could not believe or disagree more. Nobody's replacing Biden. They're stuck with him. And, that's what's going to happen. So AMC syndrome. Oh yeah. ZJOL definitely has a chance to go up, Luca. The good guys still hold it, and they still hold it bigly. They're not letting go. Next week is supposed to be when IBKR delivers their shares. So it could get interesting then. Could get real interesting. All right. What time is it? 9:02. I'm going to go through a few stories here as we wait for Ham. Okay. So this is something I've been talking about for a while, and now it's catching on, but, U.S. is bankrupting everyone else. So the dollar maintains its reserve status. Here's the deal. The U.S., this goes back to Powell, because a lot of people hate Powell. I'm indifferent to him. I don't love him or hate him, but I definitely don't think he's part of the administration. I don't think he's on the Rothschild banker, Democrat Party, Biden, Uniparty, Rhino side of things. I don't think Powell's one of them. I think he's his own guy. And this, to me, proves it, because if you're a uniparty, we've been funding the rest of the world for so long, whether it's the euro or China, we've been letting everybody else catch up to us or surpass us in some ways, or try to. But Powell, the way he's running the Fed right now, it's killing all the other economies because they're so dependent on the dollar. And we're basically saying, F you, F you. We're going to rebuild our economy and our dollar. And this is just another proof of it. Like, look at the Canadian bankruptcies going. Okay. This guy, Finance Lot's in Canada, and he's seen it. He sees it now. U.S. is bankrupting everyone else, so the dollar maintains reserve status. They don't care about it. It's worse everywhere else, and that is true. As bad as things are here, guys, it is worse 95% of everywhere else. It is so bad right now. The only places that are doing better than us are places that are completely or nearly completely decentralized. And there's very few of those countries anymore. Very few of them. So, all right, let's keep moving. I want to get through a lot before Ham comes on. In fact, I need to check my messages. My phone's charging, so it's on down here. All right, he hasn't gotten back to me yet, so I hope he didn't pass out. But it looks like he just tweeted, so he probably got my message. Bankman-Fried has to serve 85% of his sentence. Oh, that's good. Okay, so he'll be there at least 20 years. Well, that's good. 22 years, I believe, is 85%. Look at the Philadelphia Fed admits U.S. payroll is overstated by almost 1 million. How unbelievable is that? What if we took this out right now? Just boom, 800,000 out of payrolls. What would that do to unemployment in 5 seconds? Just that shows you how fake these numbers are. Oh, is Ham calling already? He's calling in early. Okay, guys, hold up. I'm bringing him in.
I was just going to tell you to finish what you were doing.
You're good. Go ahead. Why don't you just jump on? It's only 10 minutes early.
Okay. Anyway, I just want people to understand what's going on, and I mean, besides the crazy world, I'll leave that up to you.
Yep.
But as far a shareholder that I value, I know a long time. He told me to watch the movie Dumb Money. Did you see it? I did not.
Yeah, I saw it.
I saw it. Off.
Yeah.
It was too dumb for me. I know Stevie Cohen, and I know it's just like the whole thing was, as far as that goes, it was stupid. But I didn't really watch it. But they said that everybody was focused on GameStop and just focus on one individual thing. Don't get spread too thin, and just finish the job where one is, and we can move through it, and we can go after everything else. After that, after we get the win. So I decided to say, okay, everybody, GTII, I can't say anything else. We've got the proof.
Yeah.
We know the Kramers are here. We know Alpine. We know that the short is here. I can't force the issue. I can't force the company to do anything. Let's wait to see what the company does, and we move from that point on. I see you have on my elephant photo on your site right now.
Yep.
A shareholder sent that to me a gift. I always donate to the elephants. It's nice and peaceful versus whatever else I see on Twitter. So, and that was very nice of him. I can't believe the elephant painted that. I can't paint a wall. This elephant painted that. It's just amazing. But anyway, watching Dumb Money, my friend told me to focus. I have not watched the whole thing of Dumb Money. I turned it off. I have to admit I did. I watch The Big Short all the time because that is exactly what we're going through. That I understand more.
Yeah. I'll say this. I real quick before we leave Dumb Money. I know you don't like it. I know it's inaccurate, but I do think it's a useful movie because it's inspiring. Because they did get the win, and I think that part can be useful for less educated.
Yeah.
retail.
No. Listen again, but they got the win, so everybody understands. It wasn't retail.
Yeah.
It was hedge funds. Because I know everybody on your call and my friends, except for the hedge funds, and we can't afford to buy $20, $30 options. You can't buy hundreds and thousands of these things. It's impossible.
Very true.
And when you're looking at, and if you have a position that's up so much money, you have to sell it. Just imagine being up, $1 million, and the next day it's gone. People be jumping off bridges. All right. I can understand making 50 and losing 50. I can't understand having $1 million in front of you,
God.
$2 million, and letting it go.
Yeah.
You got to be out of your bird. You have to be crazy to do that.
Absolutely.
So in that aspect, hedge funds do that because hedge funds need to drive profits. Guys that are running $20 million need to turn 20 into 40 so they can go out and raise money and get to $1 billion. That's the whole game.
Yeah.
The guys with 20 are kamikazes, and they're looking they'll play anything, do anything, trying to get revenue, to try to show profits. No investor cares what they do. They just want to get bigger, faster, as fast as they can, because they get a percentage of what they run, and that's all they want to do. That's it. I've seen people do it. That's the game.
Yep.
And they'll do any crazy amount. So I'm looking at it saying, okay, GameStop was, hedge funds. I think we've done it all in Finger and GTII. GTI doesn't have the fundamentals, and that's why I'm focusing on FingerMotion, because they do have the fundamentals. And I do believe if anyone does any homework tonight, tomorrow, just go watch the goddamn video of William with the CEO. He tells you they're working on major deals that are going to make them profitable, okay? And look at what they're posting on Twitter. I just saw it the other day. People are showing it to me. I don't follow it all the time. And they're posting things about their expansion into 6G and this. They're on the forefront of that. They're in with the Chinese government. Get over it already. These guys have been knighted to become a major company. All right? Whatever their connections are, they're out of this world. All right? The only thing holding back this company is Lynn and their friends. That's it. Stop them. My friend near the close was buying 75,000 shares. He said they were hitting him on 5,000 share bids. He couldn't even take the offers. They would hit the bid. That's how desperate they wanted to move these things on the close and push them down. And you look across the board. ZJYL was north of 4. They pushed it down to 384 on the close. I followed TELO. It was trading up. They mark it down. It's just the same pattern. Just remember this. I worked for real hedge funds that were shorting things. I had to borrow the shares. I've had 3 hedge funds in the same stock short. The next day, the firm came to me and said, listen, the shares have been recalled. You have to buy in 2 of your clients. And I had to tell 2 of my clients who are major guys. One of them was Leon Cooperman, and the other one was Marty's wife. I had to tell them, you can't stay short here. And I had to buy back their short. Okay? My other client was a major guy. They gave me a lot of commission, so I let him stay. The other 2 had to get bought in. That was it. And they were all short about 100,000 shares apiece. So that's how the game goes. But the one thing about short sellers, they want stocks to go higher.
Yeah.
They do not want it to go lower. And if you can just watch what's going on in DJT, the stock spiked. They beat it back down as fast as possible. You get it down as fast as possible. Yep. It's the same pattern. When I was shorting, we would be having a party, keep pushing it higher. We want to sell it. We want to short it at higher and higher levels. These guys want to push it down at all costs. It's just amazing. And that's the pattern of a short, naked short. Yeah. Short, distort, move it down fast. Real short sellers want the stocks to go higher. They don't fight the trend. You want to take it higher? Be my guest. They believe that whatever the company is doing is not going to work, and they have the right to short it. What you're seeing is short, distort, and it's based on naked short selling. They don't need an uptick. They don't even borrow the shares, and they just beat it down. And it's very hard for us. And I got shareholders screaming at me, you're not talking about GTI anymore. You're not talking about this. You're leaving us hanging. I'm not leaving anybody hanging. My friends own the majority of GTI and FingerMotion.
Yeah.
I have no choice but to pick something, make it work, focus on that. I made one call today to a friend, and he bought 75,000 shares of FingerMotion. Wow. I told him I'm focusing, and he stepped in and bought it. And he held it up.
And I just want to interject and say, it's a battle, and the battles take strategy. And if one wins, we all win, and that's important to remember.
That's all. I've been. No one's given us any help.
Exactly.
I banged the doors down at the SEC. We banged the doors at the FBI, the Secret Service, the DOJ. I don't even know where to turn. The SEC, for anybody on this call, anyone that knows anyone at MMTLP, the SEC is looking for people who want to become advisors. They have a job search. It's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Go apply. If you want to fight, someone go apply. If you're not, you got shit to do. You're older. Go give it a shot.
Yeah.
They're looking for people to do it. You don't want me in that door because I'll be punching them in the face because it's a disgrace what they do. Hester Pierce is in Tampa. She's willing to sit down and talk with you. She's put it up on Twitter. Hester Pierce, just go to her Twitter account. She wants you to email her. You can sit down and talk to her in Tampa. Unfortunately, I can't get to Tampa. I'm trying to go other places. It's right there. So people, you can't yell at me. I may be a voice, but I can't break down every door. I don't have a gun. I don't do this stuff. I'm not law enforcement. Law enforcement around this country is lost anyway. I don't even know what's going on anymore. You know, so our battle has to be us against Lynn Partners, Benchmark, and whoever else their partners are here.
Yep.
I'm going to focus on exposing them. The Kramers and Alpine are exposed already. We exposed them. There's nothing more to say. It's not up to me. It's up to the government. I think we did a great job. We exposed it. We didn't know their prime broker until we busted the stock. The prime broker popped up. They were committing fraud. They got busted. Now they're all going down. It takes time. They'll follow the money, and eventually they're going to get the Kramers and the whole group, unless the Kramers are working for the FBI.
Which we've heard might be the case, yeah.
We've heard that from people that are getting caught as naked short sellers. One of the parties that got caught by the SEC for naked short selling, people I know the guy, and they told me 2 years ago, they never told me the guy's name, but he said 2 years ago the Kramers are informants for the FBI's, and they're ratting out other people in the game. That sounds like Whitey Bulger from Boston.
Yeah, it really does.
The gangster from Boston.
Yep.
It sounds exactly like that. He was working for the feds, and he was giving up all the other criminals. And meanwhile, he was running a criminal operation. I don't know about you. It sounds like the movie. Exactly sounds like the movie.
It really does. It does.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, so people, I'm not abandoning anybody. I buried my family in GDC. I didn't have the money to go to TJ, whatever the hell it is, ZJYL.
ZJYL, yeah.
Okay? My friend who I trust with my life has put millions of dollars into both of those names. And he updates me on it, and I'm watching, and he tells me not to panic. What panic? I paid $3.80 for GDC. It's $1. What? The panic's over at this point.
Yeah. Now you're just dead. Your emotions are dead.
Now I'm just sitting here. Now I am on the official wishing and hoping line. That's what I am. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know how many people are on your call.
About 300.
But I'm going to mark it down for you. When this thing gets back to 380, I will be selling it at 380. As soon as I sell it, it's going to go to 500. That's what's going to happen, because I made up my mind. I said, you know what? I'll be happy if I break even, and I'll go and wait for the next thing. But every time I get to that panic stage, we all do it. Don't get me wrong. We all do the same thing. You know, I got in too early. You know, getting in at $2 was getting in too early, it looks like. But when they get back to even, a lot of us traders, we like to get even and say, screw this, and kiss my ass that I'm back to even and move along. That's how most traders think.
Yep.
All right? And we reevaluate it down the road. You know? But again, I'm not abandoning, I'm not dumping, I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to, I cannot sit here and say the same goddamn thing every day.
No, you can't. That's why I don't usually ask those same questions, even if people are asking them. I know what you said 100 times. I say it too, so.
Yeah, no, but I told William to stop. We need to focus. If there's anything you want to focus on or you have your opinion on, I'm really interested in knowing everything about FingerMotion. Every tick, anything you see. I want to know what Mark Bazil's doing with Capybara. You know, this thing has taken a long time. And you know what, Mark? Fuck you. I'm telling everybody. This fucking clown, whatever his name, Igor Appleton, he came to our court hearing in a tuxedo with sunglasses, jumped on the court desk, grabbed the microphone, and was screaming, "I'm not leaving Twitter," with our lawyers. And the judge wasn't in the courtroom yet, or else he would have been arrested.
Oh, my God.
The court clerk told the Mark Bazil's team this guy is done. Get us the paperwork. He's done. So, as you can see, he's folded in the SHOT case. He will get folded in the FingerMotion case. That's next up. I asked Mark if he had video of it, and he's been quiet about it. But I've been holding it in for a while. He called me up. He couldn't believe what his guys were saying, and he said the guy is such an ass. But he's a paid criminal.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, and he's basically admitted that he commits fraud. He writes fraudulent stories, and people just think about what we're saying. Some guy wrote a fraudulent naked short story, a story to short and distort. Excuse me. He gets sued by the company. He's basically going to admit that he's defaulted and he's guilty of it. And what does the company have to do next? Go get the FBI, the DOJ to lock him up? Think about public companies doing this. The damage to the company's already been happened. He attacked it from $7 down.
Mm-hmm.
He should be in jail for that.
Yeah.
And people asking me, what are you going to do? What can I possibly do?
Yeah.
We saw the same shit in White Rock and GTII.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, we got prime brokers helping criminals defraud us. How can I stop that? I can't stop this. It's just showing you how deep this goes.
Yeah.
We're doing everything in our power to expose it. We've done everything in our power. I don't think most people could have lasted doing this for 20 years.
No way. A lot of people aren't lasting 6 months.
Where people call me up, I've been here for 7 months. I'm sick of this. Really? What do you want me to do?
Listen, it's if it's life changing, which we believe it is, it's worth the fight. And hey, maybe Ham, you want to talk about the fact that because they're trapped, it's really just a waiting game because they can't win. If you want to talk about that.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I see in Finger.
Yeah.
Okay. GTI is completely different. GTI's the company has to get some sort of business going in here. All right. And that way I can talk about it because then it's got a floor on the company. It's going to be in business. There's a business. I don't care if they make balloons. Do something. Right? The CEO should be blowing up balloons. Do
hot dog
anything.
stand?
He's got to do something.
Have the Reichman hot dog stand on the corner?
Anything. Do anything. People say to me, well, what happened to Trento? I met the Trento guys.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get the deal done with the CEO.
Yeah.
I met the guy who owns the water company in Costa Rica. He couldn't get the deal done. I know the guy, Tommy Wang, who had to deal with the law firm. The law firm walked away because the stock was being manipulated. Yeah. How could you blame a guy with a major law firm to come into this company where Wall Street's destroying the stock and letting it happen?
Yeah.
Tommy almost got that deal done.
It's scary.
Even under those circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him, and I tell people all the time, well, why didn't they get the deal done? I said, would you put your business in here? What's going on Wall Street? They destroyed Mullen. They destroyed cancer companies. They don't even care.
Yeah.
You put your company in here, you're at risk getting destroyed. Filing stuff forever and not getting any rewards from it. That's the risk that goes on here. If you break the shorts, you raise billions of dollars, you're a hero. Mm-hmm. If you don't break it, you ruin your life. That's what's at stake. This is what this has become.
It's all or nothing.
It's so crazy. It's all or nothing, and that's what I see a whole bunch of stocks here that we're watching. The GTI, Finger. I see it on your site now.
Yep, I'm putting them up.
Wolf. Wolf is just amazing. The company's tied to Bitcoin. Bitcoin closed at what? 70,000. I don't even know what it closed at. 70,000 today.
It's approaching all-time highs again. Yeah, it's at almost 71,000 right now.
71,000. I met the company at a presentation. Bitcoin was at 16,000. They did the whole presentation, how they make money. It's 71,000, and the stock can't get past $4 where it was before. How is it possible? It was at 36,000. It was 4. It's 71,000.
Yeah.
Yorkville is the naked short in that stock. I know the guys that paid it off. and the stock doesn't go.
Yeah.
It's tied to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's had the biggest run ever,
Mm-hmm.
and no one cares. No one. How do you invest in the market when that's going on?
I just want to say my buddy bought me a bunch when it was 7,000, and I sold it.
Oh, Bitcoin.
6 years ago, yeah.
Hey, listen, that's why you're not a doctor. You have no patience. That's the problem. That's what they say.
I learned patience with you.
Listen. When you have a $7,000 derivative, whatever it may be, let's say Bitcoin,
mm-hmm.
it's tough to watch all day go up and down hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah.
It's not. That's not an easy game to do. This is a big boy game, and for people that invested in Bitcoin are real novices and don't really have an idea.
Oh, the vast majority for sure.
I mean, they just bought it and holding on. They don't even know anything about it. And I hope it all works out. I hope they all make money, and God bless them. I hope they make money.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ever come into the equity market if you have Bitcoin. Stay away. At this point in my career, if I had the money, I told you I bumped into Bitcoin, and it seemed like it was a drug washing machine at the time. As a matter of fact, I know my friend was doing it for drug dealers. He was buying Bitcoin, selling to the drug dealers, and they were paying him $500 extra for each coin that he transferred to them.
Oh my God!
So he was, making like almost $2,000 a day, buying 3 coins, 4 coins, and that's what I thought Bitcoin was. I had no idea. This is when it was, probably around $6,000-$7,000. But that's why I missed that whole thing. But in the stock market, I knew how to trade, and I'll give you an example. If you heard me talk about it, I've been watching that stock Root, ROOT, which has had a major short squeeze.
Uh-huh.
The company got destroyed. It's still destroyed. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's come out of this like a rose yet. And it went from 25, 27 to $1. They reversed it back up to 25 back to $6 or $7. And it recently, company came out and said that they lost less money and their revenue is starting to expand. So when they went public, the short sellers destroyed it before it got to this point. Okay? Now the company's turned the corner 3 years later. Right? Sounds familiar, like FingerMotion, correct?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly like FingerMotion. Then the stock takes off, and it goes to $60.30, or $60.50 on a short squeeze. It got crushed down to $43, $43 the other day. If you look at it, it had a big spike down maybe 2 weeks ago. The shorts killed it.
Yeah.
Down to $43, right?
It says it closed at, low was 46, but yeah.
If you go,
went from 60 to 46, but that's what I'm seeing.
Right. And like in 2 days, in 1 day, it's down $13.
Yep.
And it's been climbing all the way back up.
Closed at 61 today.
I said it's going to break it and make a new high, 60 5/8, and it broke and it went to new high.
Yeah.
I've been watching it every day. This is a short seller trying to cover. This is a organized short. This is a short, a professional short trying to cover. They let it go up, they let it collapse, and they come back and scoop it all up. When they drove it down 14 to $46, and they start walking it back up, they're waiting for Ace and everybody on this call to panic and get out and say, "Oh my God, I paid 55. Get me out, get me out." That's how we think.
Yep.
And that's how the shorts know that we would bail out. They scare you, and then they come back and scoop it all up, and then the stock makes a new high. This is a short covering. He's covering. The short is huge. I reported it to my friend a long time ago when it was $15. I told him they were killing it. I forgot the number. I have so many reports, I can't remember what stock is what anymore. But I'm watching this because I believe FingerMotion is going to have the same exact pattern as this.
Yeah.
Now, FingerMotion, this can happen in an hour, which you're seeing now. I believe that once FingerMotion breaks, this is going to be a rocket. But this is the same pattern. The company went public. They beat it up. It was starting, and the shorts tried to beat it up. FingerMotion has hung in there for the most part all these years. But then once it started to really get strong, Lynn Partners came in and shitting on it and trying to make a company that is actually should be moving up. They've been holding it down.
I mean, it
even
should
the
be
attacks. The last
It should be 20 to 50 bucks already, just based on the contract it has.
That's and they just give it no air to breathe, and they think they're going to win. Basically, they created a route exactly the same thing. That's why I keep talking about it. I try to look for things. Of course, I could sit there and say, "Oh, it's the next Volkswagen." This, I believe it has the potential. I believe GTI has the same potential. Okay, when they break, they break fast. This is a short that's covering under his own circumstances. He's covering. You can see it.
Yeah.
All right. This is very different than a GameStop rocket move or an AMC rocket move. This is a controlled short trying to cover, and he's dying because you could see him. There's no longs chasing this stock at 61. I could never tell you, hey, go buy it. It just made a new high. Go out there and trade it. There's no one doing that.
There's no way. Did Root reverse split, correct?
Yes, 25 to 1. Yes.
So guys, this is the squeeze that's possible by holding on even with a massive reverse split. Finger has never reverse split, so just factor that in.
Our stocks, if you look at it, we fought through everything for years. Does anyone reverse split yet?
Nope.
Right? Has anyone came out here and destroyed us? Nope. What FingerMotion took money, what they do, the stock popped up, they got the money back, they paid them off immediately.
100%. Exactly.
GTI paid them off.
Yep.
Very different situations. AMC, I posted the photo of the CEO with my friend and his kid in a skybox at the Chiefs Stadium 2 years ago. I told you this guy had no interest. I told everyone in AMC.
Yep.
People cursed me out. I said, I showed you the photo. My friend asked him, are you going to do this, do that? He said, no interest.
Yeah.
And he tried, and that was the end of that. And I told everyone, and I posted the picture again when you put it up that it was over.
I'm looking for it right now. He's just a crook. He killed him again today. It's like he never stops. It's unbelievable.
Well, I don't know how he just didn't retire and just get the hell away from this stuff. But, these guys,
he's getting paid.
I don't know what they think they're holding on to. You sit in this stuff, you gotta give up on it, and you keep showing all the criminals and stuff. That's from my site.
Yeah.
I can't stand it anymore. The world is so disgusting. I can't stand it. I don't know how anybody, I don't care if you're Italian, American, Mexican, whatever it is, how do you see people beating people, smashing their heads, stabbing each other, in the streets just robbing each other? It's insane. It's totally insane. And people that voted, there is the photo, people that voted for these people, shame on you. Shame on you. I don't even understand. How did they all vote the same way? I can't figure that out.
I've been wondering that for years.
They came to me, I would tell them, fuck you. Yeah. I'm voting this way. Go fuck yourself. And I would tell everybody, they're in here begging me to do this. They have no power over you. What's the power?
I know people.
Yeah, when my term's over, kick me out.
I know people who are otherwise fairly smart and common sense, but they still vote Democrat. I cannot imagine how. I mean, I don't have any great love for Republicans, but at least there's hope on that side.
I don't care about anything. Just make it safe for your family.
Exactly.
That's all I care about.
Yep.
That's it. I don't care what color you are, this, that. I don't see that. Just be safe. If you can't be safe, if you want to be an animal, you lock them up and you put them away. That's it. This guy stabbed and killed 4 people in Illinois, some immigrant.
I know.
They shouldn't even be in trial. Yeah, we took care of it. He died. Just take him in the back and shoot him. That's it. End the conversation.
Yeah, they're not citizens. They don't deserve a trial. Yeah.
Don't feed them. Don't do anything. Execute them. Take it easy, But anyway, getting back to our stocks, you get me drifted off this subject.
That's okay. That's okay.
I wanted to talk about Root, and I gave you my opinion on that. And I've been talking about it for the last few days. I said this stock, someone's trying to cover, and it's going to make a new high, and it did.
Yeah.
Right. You could see the DJT. Stock ran up to 70 or 80 bucks. I forgot, and they smashed it down so fast to get it back to 56. I think it is. I forget where it closed. Maybe
DJT? Just a second. Yeah. No, I think DJT is still at 60. But
okay.
yeah, they did smash it though.
They smashed it down as hard and as fast as they possibly could.
Yeah.
Get that thing down, get it down. That is a short selling, naked short selling. They're not borrowing shares, and it's just a plain old, bear raid. That's it. There's nothing else to say. They wanted to. The options expired today. I keep trying to tell people, look at the manipulation on option expiration.
Oh man,
what does that add? What value does that add to the stock market?
Nothing. Just like short selling, it's just killing them.
It has no value, and it's just manipulation. Every Friday, everybody sits around, closes their eyes, says, "Oh, my options go up," and you get manipulated. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, options and short selling are really just gambling anyways. They have nothing to do with investing. They should be nowhere near the stock market.
And that's my vision for an exchange. It's just buy and sell, no short selling at all. If you have short selling, that opens the fraud part, which you have stock loan, unsettled trades. Blockchain, buy, sell. We know who bought it, we know who sells it, and we know when you sell it, who buys it next.
Yeah.
That's it. And we want companies to grow. If FingerMotion was in an exchange like that, we would see the value, people would see the value, and you would buy the stock based on what they're doing. Yeah. If they fail, they fail, and you can see it coming and going. Hey, their revenues are falling apart. The CEO has been more than honest with everybody. People, just look at his video. CEOs can't do videos like he's doing, answering questions, and sit there lying. If he's sitting there lying, you have the video to go get him hung if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? It's right there.
Yep.
The CEO of GTI doesn't make videos, right? Because he doesn't have a business to talk about.
Yeah. No, he's out everywhere.
He can only...
And I want to... Well, Shen is out everywhere. And I wanted to add, too, because we were talking about his video with William earlier. I get this question all the time. He says in that video that Univest is a good partner, which means Univest is in this. So just in case anybody asks that again.
Someone posted that, oh, Univest must be gone. I wrote back, watch the video. The guy tells you they're dealing with Univest. They're doing something with Univest. What it is, I'm not in the meeting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if the CEO tells you they're a good partner, okay, it's not easy to do corporate transactions. It's not easy to do this stuff. There's lawyers on both sides. There's paperwork that's got to be done.
Yeah.
There's got to do filings. There's a whole bunch of shit that's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
No company can move fast. We all want them to move fast, but they just cannot. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Exactly.
Unless you've done it and seen it before, it's impossible to move at that pace.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot I had a couple other things I wanted to say. I was trying to jot it down.
We were talking about Root, DJT, Finger.
Yeah, I just talked about dumb money. I talked about that. I'm going to focus. I'm going to put all my focus, all my energy is going to be into FingerMotion because I need to get this over the hump. And I'm going to circle back with as much law enforcement as possible. I'm waiting for the company to come out, whatever transaction the CEO is talking about in the first quarter. We're here. That conference with William was a month ago.
Yeah.
And the company's been putting up 6G, all these type of he's putting up, they're giving you hints everywhere. They're doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The hints are right there.
Yep.
So, again, I'm not the fundamental genius. You have to make your own decisions about what they say and do. But there's things that are happening that are major league here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told you before, go find any small company.
Yeah.
Okay? This company's only worth $120 million now, the market cap, right? 50 million shares or whatever, $2 a share, whatever it is, give or take a few bucks. It's impossible to get big companies to partner up with you and give you a press release to use your name unless you're real. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
To me, that makes this all legitimate. So for people to write, like the guy Gary, whatever his name, Gary B15 something, he says it's a scam. I attacked him because I know it's not a scam.
No.
Because Munich Re, Pacific Life Re, AIZ, China Mobile, China Unicom, no one would lend their name to a company unless they've been vetted. It's impossible. Yeah. I know AIZ checked them out because my friends brought the deal to FingerMotion and AIZ.
There's no way the Chinese government, I mean, come on. The Chinese government, those guys are so paranoid.
The Chinese government, the CEO always said, the Chinese government, once you do something with them and it works, they do not like change.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They do not like change. For them to change and let FingerMotion into the top-up business, that was run by Alibaba and Tencent. I told you they got busted selling phone cards, and billionaires were looting the money out of China.
Yeah.
That's why FingerMotion was granted this license.
Wow, I didn't know that. I remember when Tencent was having its downfall. I didn't know that.
That's part of it. They got caught. They were billionaires buying they would get the same deal. You buy minutes at 99 cents and you sell them at $1, right? That's the spread. You make something like that. So these billionaires were buying, the 10 cents were buying the cards for 99 cents. The billionaires were selling them at $1, but they were selling it out of the country. People were buying it on websites.
Yeah.
So it was helping the Chinese billionaires launder their money out of the country.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's how FingerMotion was born.
And Tencent was huge at its peak. Tencent was huge at its peak.
Yeah, they took a beating on that stuff. That's the Chinese government.
Mm-hmm.
Once they catch you cheating, you start to lose everything.
Oh yeah, they won't mess with it.
That's how they operate. And they found a company, and I don't know who's in the company in China, but obviously they know the top people in the telecom. It's not even a question about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't get data out of the Chinese telecoms. It's the most important thing in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Telecoms tell everything. It tells all the data. It's all right there. And for FingerMotion to actually have access to it is amazing. Not only do they have access to it, they got the biggest reinsurance in the world trying to do business with them.
Yeah.
Over that data. That's how important that is. Now, it's not easy to figure out how to make money from it, but they've been working on it for 2 years with the Sapientis. That's the division. It's right there. Just listen to the CEO. Mm-hmm. We're starting to figure out how we're going to charge for this thing.
Yeah.
They just can't go to Munich Re and say, hey, we need $10 million in revenue tomorrow. We'll show you some data like it's on the street corner.
Yeah.
I went to FingerMotion, okay, and I wanted them to do a business where I was going to sell the information to hedge funds. And they told me, no, thank you, because, this is where they wanted to go, is to the insurance companies. And you say, what was your crazy idea?
Wow.
Well, basically, if you think about it, everyone in China there's no money. They use their cell phones.
Yeah, for everything.
So what happens if FingerMotion did a sweep and to see how much money was spent in Starbucks? No names. How much money was spent today in Starbucks?
Yeah,
we would know. Yeah. FingerMotion would know how much money was spent in Starbucks, and the only person that would know that amount would be Starbucks.
Mm. They're going to have more data than Facebook. It's unbelievable.
We can think about that. How much money was spent in Starbucks on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it is. FingerMotion can get that information.
Yeah.
I wanted to sell it to Stevie Cohen.
Wow.
I said I could probably make $10 million a month from doing that. How about Nike? How much money they spend in Nike? We can tell how much the Chinese spend.
Man.
We can tell what they're buying. We can tell if they're buying a Tesla car because they use their phones.
Mm-hmm.
We would know all that type of data. How much they spend at McDonald's.
Wow.
All the companies that use China information to help their inflate or their stock price based on China sales, we would have the information before anybody else.
Yeah.
I use Starbucks because Starbucks is big in China. Imagine Starbucks would be saying these people know our revenue before we know it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
that's how much.
You break down what Finger's capable of once they get this moving. It's on its own. It's a $300 stock, easy.
And but I'm just saying that's the idea I came up because I wanted to sell it to the hedge funds.
Yeah. Because
a hedge fund knew that Starbucks wasn't going to do well in China based on last quarter, they could short the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Or they can go long more. Whatever way you want to go, we have the data.
Wow.
And I had someone that was going to fund it for me. They were going to give me $10 million to set up a place a place that we can pile the data and put it into reports and sell it.
Unreal, yeah.
But FingerMotion said no to that. They wanted to build out a real company, and they didn't want to do, crazy shit that I wanted to do.
Well, that just means though that when they finally do hit that level, that's when it'll break out.
The numbers are going to be 100 times bigger.
Yeah.
So they turned down the short money, which has been what I was trying to figure out how to use that data to go for the long haul.
Yeah.
And the long haul is obviously going to be great for the company. The other way would have been great for me, but it's great for the company.
Well,
so
it's going to end up being great for you too, and everybody involved. I mean, it's
just saying. So that's why I'm just staying focused, because there is things I could talk about.
Yeah.
And GTI, there's nothing for me to say.
No.
Alpine and the Kramers destroyed this company and their opportunities to acquire companies. Now the company's back's to the wall, and they got to come up with a deal.
Yeah.
And they told Richard that they were doing it.
Yep.
What else can I say?
Richard's got great updates, guys. If you guys want GTI updates, Richard's got great stuff.
All right, so again, on that, if anyone wants to go see Hester Pierce, she's an SEC commissioner. She's a top person. If you live in Tampa, go to her Twitter account. She's there. You can email her. Go ask her any questions. If you hate my guts, go there and tell it to your face. Say, this guy Ham's a piece of shit. Go ahead, knock yourself out. But do something. Don't yell at me. I had people yelling it to me, you're leaving me flat. I'm not leaving you flat. My friends own all these stocks.
Yeah, we're still in it.
I'll give you an example. I hate to tell people stocks because everyone yells at me. My friends, I told you about this stock, TELO.
Yeah.
It went public. My friend knows the guy who bought the whole goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
They naked shorted out of the get-go. It went public as 7. The guy paid 7. The guy that knows everything about the company. He bought 1 million shares at 7. He knows everything about the company. It opened for trading. The shorts killed it to 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
It bounced back up. It had a mini squeeze to 20. It got back to 9, and they've been selling it ever since. The company's put nothing but good news out that they want to enhance your life and make you live longer. That's what they're about. They've been beating the shit out of this stock and created a whole float. They created a whole new float. This stock is at 515. It went IPO at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the trading. Look at the up and downs on that chart. You get dizzy in that thing. But
Yeah.
all they keep doing is trying to push it down. The more shares you buy, the float gets bigger. Remember, they're creating all these shares.
Yeah.
One guy owns the whole thing. He hasn't made one sale. Nothing. But I heard today, around April 15th, the company's coming out with big news. They're having a big presentation in front of all the news media. And I heard that they're doing the trials at Johns Hopkins.
Wow.
Johns Hopkins doesn't fool around. If Johns Hopkins is doing the trials, this thing does work. So keep an eye on it. You don't have to buy the stock. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I'm trying to teach you so you understand how things work.
Mm-hmm.
I reach out to friends. I make 300 calls a day. Every time I call somebody, they tell me something about a stock, and I listen. Because out of respect, if you call me up and say you hear something, I got to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's Wall Street. So I've been following this one. Who doesn't want their life extended? Who doesn't want to be healthy? So I took an interest, and they said they can treat your pet, and your pet it can reverse, symptoms in your pet, whatever it may be. I don't know. How could you not pay attention to that? These guys are killing it. They don't even give a shit. Their own family, their mother, their brother, their dogs, they could care less. They just want to steal money.
Yeah.
I mean, so, again, I'm just telling you to pay attention to different things, and I can't tell you how to trade. You could buy stocks and buy 5,000 shares of a stock, and it goes up a dime, and you can sell it and make $500. People do that.
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Mm-hmm.
We have many day traders in our stocks. I keep trying to tell people, go day trade something else.
Yeah.
These are not day trading stocks.
Mm-mm.
GTII is not a day trading stock. FingerMotion is not a day trading stock. It can take off and run one day, yeah, sure. But don't come here for day trading. If you want action, go play DJT. Go play NVIDIA. There's action. You'll be hair standing up. You'll look like Don King standing up with your hair. It'd be so crazy. Half of you people getting wiped out in minutes in those names. That's how crazy it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not advise you to become a day trader in small cap names. Go find big names, Figure it out. Learn how to trade Apple. Learn how to trade NVIDIA. Go trade those names because there's liquidity and you can get in and out. Institutions always support those names when there's a bear raid.
Yeah.
We get no support in small caps when there's bear raids.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine, he runs a hedge fund. He said he'd buy 75,000. He was standing there. You would think he would have to pay up to 230 for it, and they were just whacking him like crazy. They couldn't. Every time you put a bid up, they hit him. Just remember this, people. How can you tell the difference from a seller or a naked short seller? That's a great question, right? I ask myself that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. FingerMotion was 205, 206. My friend started buying it. He moved it through 205. He threw it to 206. He took it to 207, 208. So you can see that as a buyer there. So the seller was selling 5,000, moving back up very slowly, moving up. As soon as my friend stopped, they come in and whack it back down. Now, everyone on this phone, if you had 10,000 shares of stock and you wanted to get out, you would just pick the stupid number, 205, 210, and you would just put it there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't sell 1,000 shares at 206, 207, 208, 209, and then sell the last 5,000 at the market at 205 again. Do you understand? That just gets you less money. You sell it when it goes up, you pick a number, and you stay there. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
I don't sit there trying to move backwards, and when you stop buying, chase it back down trying to sell it lower. That's how you can tell a real short versus a real seller. What I just described to you, what they're doing in FingerMotion today, that's a naked short seller. As soon as the buying stops, they move it down real quick, and they just change the level again. A real seller would stick at a number. Back in the old days, I would tell you stories. We see stocks to be, like $34.90 to $35, right? That would be the market. $34.90 to $35.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, at $35, there'd be 200,000 for sale. And you would see it on your quote machine. It would say 999, so we knew it was 100. It was at least 100,000, right? All of a sudden, it started trading at 35. 5,000, 2,000, 3. All of a sudden, you start seeing across we used to read the tape, 3,000, 8,000. You can see people starting to take the 35 stock. As soon as the 35 stock was taken, all the 200,000, it would go 35 to 35 and a quarter, 35 and a quarter to 35 and a half. The seller was done, and the buyers would come rushing in because they knew the seller was done. Correct?
Yeah.
Not here. When you buy it, they come back and they come back with more. You buy it, they come back and mark it down lower. Very different. And that's the difference what we were taught to see, and what I see today is just complete criminal stuff. It's just criminal.
Yeah, wow.
And I just described to you how it goes. When you take a big seller out, there's no more selling. We have selling. When they ring the bell from pre-market to till it stops, there's always, the marks are always lower. Every once in a while you see, aftermarket, you'll see a stock, pop up or whatever, a pre-market, but very rarely do you see it. Mm-hmm. I see the TELO every day marked down 20 shares in the morning. I see it in ZJYL. I see it in GDC popped the other day. Someone said $1.78. I didn't see it. And when it's high as $1.78 pre-market, in 20 minutes of trading, they had it down to $1. Now, I don't know about you. For a stock that trades 50,000 shares a day, who the hell sold 2 million shares and sold it down? There's no shares in the company. My friend owns 10% of the float. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's manipulation, and they tried to keep it lower. Keep it lower. We want no momentum, keep it lower. As long as you understand that, yeah. When it closed, after hours of 3 cents on 1,000 shares.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have any questions? I don't want to keep you. I know you got a lot of shit that you like to do and reach
out.
No,
I mean, I had a couple. Well, one person asked if you could.
You got Jenny L. Jenny L. was here. Jenny L. William always says you give me kind words. I appreciate. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. William's always talks about you. We've never spoken, but I thank you.
She's one of the good ones. She really is, and she's brilliant. She she every once in a while will send research that she does on the back end of what's going on in the economy, the banks and stuff. It's very good stuff. But she's one of the good ones.
Listen, I try. You don't understand that there's a lot of good people here, but we're not here to help trade for you. I'm not your investment banker. You know, I can only tell you what we see. I'm fighting fraud, but there's ideas that you can trade. And if I say it, you make your own decision on it.
Yeah.
Look at it. I can't, listen, I'm in a terrible trade right now. You know, I don't wish it on anybody. So I have to figure out how to get out of it, but I have to figure out how to get out of it and not slaughter my whole family.
Yeah.
And my daughters, because I put them all in here, and I don't know how to do it because we have no more money to keep playing with.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to figure out how do I do it. There's no options. I can't hedge. I can't do anything. I'm stuck. So it happens to everybody, but you can't get angry at us. No. We're in the same position as you.
Absolutely.
And there's nobody, and there's no one on Wall Street that's 100% all the time. If anyone tells you that, just hang up the phone and walk away from them because they're full of shit.
Unless you're Ken Griffin and you can control the price.
Well, that's a different story. That's a different story. Criminals. Listen, Lynn Partners is up. I was talking to a friend. He goes, all the proof you need in FingerMotion is how is Lynn Partners up 220%?
No joke.
And everyone else is getting wiped out. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I told you, Warren Buffett, if he invested $10 billion at a clip and told these companies they all went to zero, no one would ever believe Warren Buffett for a second, right?
Yep, 100%.
Lynn Partners, it gives companies $10 million like in a drop of a dime. Every company gets destroyed, and they're bragging how good they are. It doesn't even. You can't even make it up.
Yeah.
And they try to pull that shit. Look at we thank God a few people caught the guy in Australia talking. He basically said he was up 220% in his Lynn Global Fund. Yeah, that's the fund that lends out all the money.
John
Hancock. He's up 220%. Yeah, he's up on 220% on stolen money. Lynn's bragging how good they are in investing. Oh, we're proud to invest in this. Every company they invest in, they're the worst investors ever. How is it possible? They all get destroyed.
Yeah.
It's like I posted SYTA was one of their stocks. It was $10, I think, or I forgot what it was, to a penny. Then they did reverse. They're laughing all the way to the bank, these guys. They destroy companies. And no one says anything about it. The Kramers are completely different. The Kramers on GTI are just criminals.
Absolutely.
They're the garbage pails of criminals. They're very different. These guys are more sophisticated, give out real money. They're giving out $10 million, $12 million. The Kramers give out $100,000, $200,000. They're like a loan shark on a corner. It's very different. As a matter of fact, Gretchen Morgensen called them loan sharks. She did a story about them. They are loan sharks, and if you didn't pay them, they threatened to come over and beat you up. Jeez. And she did a story on that. And she told me, she was a Pulitzer Prize winner, and she told me that she spoke with the feds and they want these guys in jail. Wow. That was 4 years. I says, I'm fighting them on the naked short selling side. Can you get the feds here? And she used to laugh. She goes, they'll get them. And I'm like, she's like, I'm the only person doing anything. But again, you understand all the differences. I'm just trying to break down the differences. Lynn Partners are a sophisticated bunch. They put on up front. They put up big money. Yeah. And if you look at it, their new victim is KNW, King Nancy William. I post about it. I know nothing about the company. It's doing something to help people with diabetes. Yeah, no one cares about that. Fuck them all. Let them all die. That's Lynn Partners. They're probably sitting there saying, "Oh, this is a great idea." People with diabetes, they're all hoping to get something to cure them, right? Yeah. Everybody wants that, and that would get people and the CEO talking it up to get people to buy the stock so they can short it. What happened? They gave them the money. 2 days later, the company came out with a press release about their glucose meter being whatever it's doing. So the company is trying to assist them and pumping the stock up. They don't mean to do it, but they did it. Yeah. Next thing up in KNW, they were referenced. Benchmark is the one that introduced KNW to Lynn Partners. So what do you think we're going to see next? Benchmark giving a research report? Sounds like that's part of the MO, right? If you go to Benchmark, they'll introduce you to Lynn. You get the money, and Benchmark says, "Hey, if you do the deal with Lynn, we'll give you a research report." It so happens that in FingerMotion, they did the research report as the stock was going, and they gave it a target of $5. So Benchmark basically, because the stock was going higher, they gave a report that the company's fundamentals, it's worth $5, and they're going to reevaluate whether to raise it.
Wow.
So who's selling it at $2? Benchmark said it was worth $5. They used their financial power as a brokerage firm to say the stock is worth a minimum of $5. Mm-hmm. Who's selling it at $2?
Yeah.
So that research report went out the window. Mm-hmm. So Benchmark's either research is awful, or there's fraud here somewhere by the short sellers.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what happens is Benchmark's report brought in buying, and now they're screwed.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened here.
Yeah.
So you can see the pattern. You go to them, you give them the money, you get our research report. So KNW, they're waiting for the research report. I'm sure it's going to come out soon and say how wonderful the company is. Because Lynn Partners needs people to buy the stock so they can sell it. Mm-hmm. The only way they get their money back is by people buying the stock, because they need to sell it short. Yeah. So the stock was 90 cents, it's down to 60 cents. So Lynn, there is no buyers. So Lynn looks to me like they're getting a little more aggressive. And then the CEO of the company, for everybody on this phone, is going to tell his friends, "We got the money. Everything is going great. Don't be afraid." So the CEO is going to murder his friends.
Yeah.
Because he has no idea what Lynn Partners is capable of. They're going to drive it down to pennies. All right. If you do the math, 12 million shares, $12 million. How many shares is he going to have to give it to him, right? They get it, 30% discount from the lowest day, 30-day average or some nonsense. So at 60 cents, if they closed it at 60 cents and the company has to start paying them back soon, this thing would be like they'll be getting stock at 15 cents. Mm-hmm. And look how many shares that's going to be. So the whole company capitalization, which is a small company, will get totally destroyed. And then the company they'll get kicked off. I don't know if they're on the NASDAQ. If they're on the NASDAQ, they don't meet the dollar requirement, and they're going to get kicked off. And what do they do then? They reverse. They all do the same thing. It's the same thing. And I hope, Ace, you understand that that's what happens, right? You've seen it in MULN. You've seen it everywhere.
For sure. I've seen it so much. I knew nothing about this 2 years ago, and I've seen it every freaking time. It's unbelievable. I mean,
and they just sweep it under the carpet.
It's crazy.
And the companies come out. And everything's great. No big deal. Look at Root.
Yeah.
I told you my friend, he bought 200,000 shares in the IPO. He's a billionaire. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was a $7 billion market cap. It's $891 million at $61. Mm. He's still down. Think about that. I don't know exactly what he has left, but he's still down. It's never gotten back to that price of $26 to $27.
So even with the squeeze, it's still.
Even with the squeeze, he's still down. It was $7 billion. It's not even one yet.
Mm. I mean, yeah, if you go to the 5-year chart with the reverse splits, it says that its peak was 530.
All right, so that's where he needs to probably get back to get even. It's $61.
That's unbelievable.
He needs to get even at $500 and something.
God.
So now you can understand the damage.
Yeah.
Even though Root right now, to people that didn't know about the history, they sit there, oh my God, look at this. This thing has been a beast. Look at this company. It's wonderful. And I look back and say, okay, they slaughtered everybody. Yeah. I see the opposite.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to teach you guys, is that look at the damage. Look what they do. It's remarkable. The murdering of companies and investors.
I mean, guys, right now, if you can see my screen, if you ever doubted the damage that a reverse split can do, you're seeing it right here with Root. Because even though it's squeezing right now to 61, it's not even 1/5 of the way to where it was before.
Right, and they destroyed it down, and they brought it back, and it was all the fanfare. It was the biggest IPO in the state of Ohio's history.
Jeez.
They raised $1 billion for the company. Went public at a $7 billion market cap, and it's worth $800 million now.
It's
That's how much money was stolen and destroyed out of this company.
Yeah, unreal.
And they all do this, and they do the same thing. The SEC, no one sees it, no one says anything. I see it. I report it to you, and that's what I'm trying to show you.
Yeah.
And when the companies get like this and they get destroyed, like it's so funny. I'm just trying to show you is that we followed two stocks really.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't reverse yet. None of the companies reversed. No one's done anything like that. We fought through this whole thing. Think how hard it is. These companies are super powerful. Had an $800 million IPO. $800 million in the bank.
Yeah.
And they got destroyed. They lost everything. Money in the bank.
Yeah.
They couldn't care less. They destroyed it. All the money. Look at the guy from Rum. He told me I got $250 million in the bank. And I told him, I says, they don't care what you have. He goes, well, I'll just buy the company and take it private. I says, that's what they want you to do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but unless this guy has a plan to fight through the muck here, they're going to keep coming at him. For some reason, they want to get him. They targeted him. He won a battle. He's won a little couple of battles here. He's got a little spike. You know, he's still not at the highs, but it's a fight 24/7. Not against building a business, against criminals.
Yeah.
Look what he has to do. He has to fight criminals.
Yep.
And the SEC doesn't do anything about it. Anyway, I don't want to keep everybody all night. I know you like to recap all your stuff, but again, I am focusing on FingerMotion for a reason. I believe that the company is going to come out with stuff soon. I don't know when. I'm just following the video with William. He did a great job. It's right there. The company's posting all kinds of stuff on Twitter. The last 2 days, people showed it to me. Read what they're doing. Look at the markets they're in. These guys are covering the biggest market in the world. I don't give a shit about China-U.S. relationships. That don't mean nothing. All Tesla, Apple, everybody's doing business in China. All this other stuff is just a show. You know, there's no war going on between China and the U.S. That's not going to happen.
No, never. Not a hot war anyways. It'll be economic.
Right. That's don't fall for the old bullshit. Oh, China, it's all bullshit. The company's not a Chinese company.
Yeah.
It's a U.S. company with ties in China.
Yeah.
Very strong ties in China.
Yeah.
I always tell them they should get relationships and try to make introductions for companies that want to get into China. You know, maybe Apple wants to get into something deeper. I'm not saying Apple's the biggest, but
Apple's banned in China.
I don't know, whatever. Somebody who wants to get into China because they can open the door and at least it'd be like an introduction fee. Try to get things like that. But just, whatever it is,
it's just business. Is what it comes down to.
But again, like I said, if you guys want, I'm going to focus. I'm completely focused on Finger. If you direct message me, I'll be glad to answer questions. If I get updates on anything, I'll post it. But for the most part, I'm going to slam Lynn Partners. I'm going to repost. I'm going to go through every stock they've invested in. I'm going to go through all the charts on them, and I'm going to show the world how brutal these guys really are.
Love it.
I'm going to take the time. I'm not going to drift around. I'm just going to focus on that. And when I speak to friends, I'm going to pitch them the story, and they make their own decisions on it, and see what happens out of it. The company pulls through and does what they're supposed to do. We're off to the races.
And one win wins them all, guys. One win wins them all.
That's it.
All
right, listen, everybody. Have a good Easter and have a good weekend. And I'll speak to you next week.
Damn, try to relax this weekend.
That's not going to happen.
Take care.
Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, wow, that was awesome. He was great tonight, man. Wow, fired up. I love it. So good. So good. Okay, anybody got anything? I've been trying to keep up in the chat a little bit with you guys. I do have some more things I'm going to go through. I'm not leaving yet, but Ham is good. I actually just want to talk about real quick the idea that he's talking about. Let's hammer one. So I know that all of us have been in multiple plays over the last few months. Finger and GTI have been the big ones, but some of us sprinkled into CJYL, GDC, Wolf. There's been a few, right? I'm in DJT right now. It's all that, and I get it. I get the desire to know everything about every stock as much as possible, and Ham is the guy we want to talk to. I get it. Trust me, I've been there. I used to be that way with AMC and Lou, just like, please tell me everything. I watched him every day, every video. I get it. But we are being strategic here, and Ham's being strategic. And Finger right now is the strongest of all the companies. It doesn't mean that the short squeeze will be bigger, but it means it's the most likely to get a win based on pure fundamentals. And so that it makes total sense to back behind that and for him to go all in to make this one happen. So we get one, we get them all. There's no way that money, if Finger blows up, does not just go in batches into GTII, ZJYL. You know it, guys. All Ham's buddies are on the same stuff, and he's friends with multimillionaires. His buddy that he keeps talking about is almost a billionaire. So he's got plenty of money involved in all this and plenty of money more to get in when he sees it's time. So just letting you guys know, in case there's questions on that, I'm going to continue focusing any news. I'm not going to just pick one stock. I'm going to always share whatever news is out, but I'm also going to keep hammering on the economy stuff, because I believe that if we don't get a fundamental squeeze like in Finger, we're going to get a economic stock market crash type cost squeeze that's going to break all the trapped shorts and all these stocks. And so I'm going to continue to do that. We're all doing our thing. We're all doing our part. So I got plenty more to go through, guys. So if you guys want to hang out, I got a good group here tonight, 340 people. By the way, guys, please, 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 I got a lot of people on here. Please like the stream. I know sometimes it seems like, why? Especially if you're watching on the TV, it can be a little pain to do it with your remote. But please, it really helps the channel. And my channel has been shadow banned. My growth has slowed down. And I know it's not the content, because I have such a passionate group of people still coming in. And every time somebody starts watching, they become part of this community. They love it. So we got to hang in there. But my channel, YouTube doesn't like me because I speak truth. I open up what's going really on in the world. So thankfully, they're not banning people as much as they used to. And maybe I'll but they will shadow ban. So please like, subscribe if you're not. I appreciate it. I'm going to continue having more guests. I'm working on some big guests, and then Pedro will be back soon. And as always, Ham's welcome, and so is William. So we're going to keep going on with that. I'm going to catch up on a couple comments, and then I got some stuff I want to cover. Let's see. Gabriel, you're up to 12,000 shares of Finger. Nice. Christopher just skinned a Western Diamondback. Shut up. That is the manliest thing I've heard today. GTI will be the greatest in history. Squeeze Mortal says, I could see it. He has risen, said end times. Well, in one way and not another, he has risen. But we'll talk about that on my other channel that I'm launching on Saturday. That'll be my more faith stuff channel where I talk about that kind of stuff. But it is not the end. It's the beginning. It's just the end of an age. That's all. Jeff, not talking blasphemy here, but after squeeze one is looking for a longer term play hold. AMC's getting ripe. Interesting. I will never put my money in AMC unless I start seeing major crazy momentum, which I just don't see it happening. It would have to hit like 10, 15 and be climbing fast for me to even consider going to AMC. That's how battered and bruised I think that stock is. But Jeff, I know I agree with your analysis, because I know a lot of smart people who agree with you. BAM Investor, who is one of my favorites, and several others see the same thing you're seeing. I just personally, I think AA is always going to find a way to screw it. So Kevin made money on DXYZ. Well done for you, sir. That's like me with DJT lately. Manliest thing you heard was when Ace told me to say sorry. You're funny. Finger is a gift of these prices, Gabriel. And I want to talk on that for a second before I move on. Guys, if you could have gotten into Apple when it was $2 or Nvidia when it was $5, And wouldn't you kick yourself and go back in time if you could and go do that? 100% you would. That's finger. I'm telling you right now. Ham brought it up again. I'd forgotten about this. That Benchmark has it as a $5 price, and that's with everything going on. But when that originally came out, we were laughing because we thought that was low. But even that, that they're selling it down there. That's proof of fraud. Once Finger starts rolling on these contracts it has and really starts turning this revenue out, it is going to be off to the races. You heard Ham talk about the data they're going to produce. This is like its potential of being an Apple or a Facebook or a Google stock out of Chinese stocks. That is Finger, and that's without the short squeeze potential. So imagine what it does when it breaks and squeezes. I would not be surprised if Finger squeezed to 2,000 and then settled at 400. That's how insane Finger is. So listen, $2 for a share of Finger right now might be the greatest decision with your money you've ever made. I'm just saying. And then with GTII, obviously it doesn't have the fundamentals, but with the short percentage in it and the price it's at where you can grab so much at like less than 30 cents, you can scoop that up. Now, it's not going to be Finger where it settles afterwards because it's not the same, does not have the value of a company, but the short squeeze potential at these prices is insane. So Kit, DJT 160 on or after April 15th. I love that. That's great. What's up, Clay? Mortal says 10K coming out of GTI next week. Yeah, I think we'll see that on the Monday, but maybe tomorrow. Trigger short squeeze inevitable. AMC 2.0 feels like early June 2021 for the rip from 2 to 70. I hope so, Immortal. That'd be awesome. Finger seems pretty much rock bottom. I agree with that, Mark. Brett, you'd rather invest in Arm & Hammer baking soda and crack before I buy AMC again. That's funny. Mario Hot Tub Time Machine. There you go. So funny. Dang, you got Finger at 89 cents, Tim. Well done, sir. That's impressive. That is very impressive. All right, so here's Ham with all Adam Aaron. He's covering up his face, but this is him and his buddy Adam Aaron. They're telling him we can free your stock. We know how to break these guys. Adam Aaron said, "Screw you. I want to get paid by the shorts and make my money on the side being a crook." So that's why Ham hates him so much. All right, I went through that. Okay, let's keep going through some stuff because I know there's no market tomorrow, guys. So Good Friday. I hope you guys all enjoy your weekends and, even if you're not spiritual, take the time to rest and get ready for new beginnings because April's here. And I think our year is only off to as crazy as this year has been. I think we've seen nothing yet. I think the next 6 to 9 months are going to be absolutely, pardon my French, batshit crazy. I think we are going to see the craziest year any of us have lived through, unless you're really old and lived through some old World War II year or something. But other than that, I think this is going to be the craziest year of our lives. And speaking of which, that bridge that collapsed, it's credit negative for Baltimore as the economic shock emerges. Guess what? This could cripple the economy of Baltimore that's happening right now. And listen, Baltimore's already in bad shape, but this will have a reverb effect. And there's just so much going on here. More and more, I talked about this the other night. I wanted to be more careful. I'm not being careful anymore. I feel very strongly this was an attack. And I'm going to come back to that later, but this is only the beginning, guys. I think this is only the beginning of some things we might see happening, and we just need to pray that it's minimal damage as possible when this stuff goes down and that a lot of these plans are thwarted, because I think we're going to see more of this coming. Kit on Finger, volume says it's hated at 2, but we'll love it at 5. Psychology at work. They make you think nothing's happening. Don't want you to buy. That's the best time to add. Amen. Yeah, be greedy when others are fearful, right, Kit? Money's on the charts, says Conquer. Absolutely. Peter Zuniga, do I have any idea of big news with MMTLP tomorrow? No, I have no idea. So, the one, I've been loading up a Finger for a while. Bought some today. Nice, buddy. Good for you. Amen, Mark. All right, I'm going to keep moving. This is just, listen, a lot of people hate Trump. I just wanted to show you guys I've been hearing this kind of stuff about Trump for the last 10 years. He paid off the NYPD officer that just died the mortgage for his wife. So, you know what? If you guys think Trump's a bad person, like because he is mean tweeter, you might just be stupid. I'm just saying. He does this stuff all the time. Continuing. All right. Central banks around the world are cutting rapidly their rates. I disagree with this. It's only a matter of time before the Fed joins the party. I disagree with this for the thing I shared earlier today, which is that the Fed wants these other countries to collapse. They are all freaking out. And I don't think our Fed catches up with them. I think our Fed holds tight and lets them all freak out because they need us to cut. They need us to cut because they all have the dollar holding on and for dear life as their reserve currency. And they want that to cut. They want America to loosen its lending. And if it doesn't, they're going to be crushed. And they are all doing this out of panic because all these other nations have worse inflation than we do. So, all right, continuing on. Yeah, Northwest says no pilot named yet. 2 minutes missing on the black box. 100%. Exactly. Yeah, Mark, I agree with you. Scott, Drew Diligence going to drop some bombs. Okay. Brett, Brandon would have them foreclosed on the house. Trump paid off and then send the money overseas. Listen, Trump went to that. He went to the funeral today, and Biden went to a campaign rally. So there you go. Hayes, why are people saying Christ is King is anti-Semitic? Don't get it? Because it's a psyop, Gabriel. That's the only. Listen, it's a psyop. Don't pay attention to it. Don't even get involved in it. It's stupid. They're just trying to get everybody riled up and fight with each other. Yeah, just stay away from that one. Kate, you have a feeling distraction coming late September, trying to push martial law during elections. I have a feeling that's what they want as well, Kit. I don't, and I'm praying and believing that they don't get there. That's what I'm saying. But I agree with you. They want that. Scott, feverishly transferring to AST when the U.S. costs the rest of the world has a flu. Mario, you're completely right on that. Yeah. Just Mike, Mitch McConnell's recently dead sister-in-law is the CEO of the company that owns the ship knocked down the bridge in Baltimore, allegedly. I heard that. That is wildness. Wildness. It's funny when you ask people why they hate Trump, they can't give you a logical reason why. Well, that's not completely true. They can give you logical reasons, but they don't have evidence to support it. So, like for instance, one of the logical reasons I've heard from some people I like is that he's just as bad as the others. He's on Epstein's list. He flew with Epstein. He's a pedophile. He's a crook. He hurt so many people in New York. He's always been taking advantage of people. All those are logical reasons. But the problem is there's no evidence to support it, except for the fact that he flew with Epstein from New York to Florida, never to the island. There's no record of Trump going to the island. And so those are logical, but there's no evidence to back it up. Every single rich person, celebrity who Epstein came around flew on that plane. So we have to be careful. It's not just you flew on that plane. It's where did you fly? And I don't know if you guys know the story, but the story is with Trump and Epstein, he had no idea what was going on. And one of the reasons Trump was loved by these guys up until about the late 2000, the aughts, is that they all loved him, and he was part of the party scene, but he was never a part of the dark stuff. Once he found out about that, that's when he totally flipped and started calling out Obama. This is all back in 2012 with the birthers thing. That's when Trump changed, is when he found out about this stuff. And I believe that actually proves true to me based on his timeline, based on eyewitness accounts, all that. Not one girl on Epstein has ever implicated Trump. They all said they didn't see him ever. Epstein, what was I going to say? Epstein at Mar-a-Lago started hitting on young girls, the waitresses, and Trump kicked him out, permanently banned him. So there's a lot of stuff to say that as soon as Trump found out about it, he's out. So that's evidence. Okay. Logic. Yes, they have logic, but they don't have evidence. And that's the thing. Northwest, Mark, when they remodeled the harbor, they neglected to install dolphins around the supports for bridge, stop a collision. Absolutely. I hear you, Gabriel. Jeff, Zionists will assert Jesus not the Messiah. Zionist Jews are, well, all Jews don't believe Jesus is the Messiah, but yes, the Zionist ones are the ones that are deeply offended by it. So there you go. My conservative numbers for ZJYL in terms of share price in the near future, I have no idea in the near future, Dan. I can't tell you. I can tell you that when it squeezes, I think it easily could break $700 to $1,200 easily. But that, as far as near future, I don't know. It got lower than I ever expected it to. But as long as I know nobody's selling it that holds it, I'm very bullish on the future. But I can't tell you near future. All right, this here. Interesting seeing Magnificent 7 sold off today while people saw it yield and everything else. Remember yesterday, the Dow was up almost 500. Today, Microsoft down, Apple down, Meta down, Amazon, Google, Nvidia barely up. The point is like these big guys went down. Apple, especially a full percent, Meta almost 2%, Tesla down 2%. Why all the selling off and why all the buying in small caps? Isn't that interesting? That's something we almost never see. So just something to think about. I don't know what it means, but when people are leaving the big 7, which have been the safe stocks, and getting into the small caps, it's very interesting. That's a huge reversal we haven't seen in a very long time. Dollar's breaking out again. It's getting stronger and stronger. Back here, he wrote back in February, dollar's about to go crazy when the yield curve starts rising again. It'll happen right when reverse repo runs out, which we're close to, and after BTFP ends, which happened 2 weeks ago. So anyways, just something to watch out for. Liquidity is drying up. The dollar is going up, but the yield, there's just a lot going on interesting with yields, yield curve, the treasuries, all that. It's all showing signs of insanity coming up. Oh, which reminds me, I meant to go over this real quick, but Ham was talking when I pulled it up. I had no idea. I knew gold hit all-time highs. I had no idea it was this high. $42 in a day is insanity for gold. Guys, this is a huge run for cover into safe havens. If that last big Dow day with the market 2 days ago, where it just blew up in green, that might have been the last bull trap or bear trap. I'm sorry, jumping in, because this is nuts to happen one day. That's crazy. Why? If the stock market, if the economy is so good and the stock market is at all-time highs, why are people running to gold at this alarmingly fast rate? That is wild how fast that went up today. So gold is, at this pace, it'll break 2,300 next week, which is a crazy thought. Okay, RFK Jr. news. You guys know what I thought about his VP. He came out today and said he supports a national smart grid can remotely shut off personal appliances. I'm only going to cover this for 1 second. I'm very disappointed in RFK. I thought he was more of an independent. He's starting to lean into his leftism. He's a full-on lefty at this point. Guys, if you care about our country at all, in the future of our country, you cannot vote RFK. You just can't. I'm sorry, you cannot. He's not Biden bad, because I don't think he's fully controlled by the establishment, but he definitely believes in their values. So it won't be much different. And this is just very disappointing to me. So anyways, moving on. All right, here's, you brought this up, the 2 minutes missing. The Dolly Shift black box has 2 minutes of missing data right before it crashed. The black box should be completely untouchable even from cyber attacks. The black box is meant to be basically indestructible to keep all records. So if the black box has data missing, you know that it's purposeful. There's no accident that makes the black box miss 2 minutes. None. So this is to me absolute proof. This is a premeditated attack. This is, to me, is absolute proof. I don't need to see anything else. That's how I see it. So, Jeff, do I know where province finance law's from? No, but he's Canadian. Jeff, did I mention Candace Owens are being excommunicated from Daily Wire because Zionists? Absolutely. Yeah, and I agree. It's good for her. I think she'll do really well. I've been down on the Daily Wire for a long time. They started showing their true colors back in 2016. Kit, did Poopy Pants say he took the train several times over that bridge? Yet there's no risk. Yeah, he did. Well, maybe he won't get crushed in a debate because they'll load him up with all the cocktails, which I swear, every time they load him up, like with the State of the Union, he loses 5 more years of his life or whatever's left. 6 months to 5 years of his life every time they load him up with those cocktails, because they give him some good stuff to be able to talk that way. What's up, Colby? Much love to you. Silver catching up. Silver has a big run in it for sure. Oh, RFK's messed up a lot lately. Kit, the November 2022 S3 says it free. Read the verbatim. Surprisingly, becomes free. What are you talking about? Free? Northwest Black Box has a backup power source, so losing ship power does not affect it. Recording. Absolutely, I know the black boxes are basically indestructible. Gold hits all-time highs. I just covered this, but still very interesting. A lot of people watching this. It's very telling. Kobisi Lair, personal interest payments are about to break above 2008 levels. Personal interest payments exclude mortgage interest have just skyrocketed to 3% of personal consumption. People are paying 3% of their spending. Oh, sorry guys, that's my wife. She wants to talk to me as she's gone. I'm just gonna text her and tell her I'm almost done. But 3% of their spending on interest payments is huge. Put this in perspective, it's just 1.6% less than 3 years ago. It's almost doubled in 3 years. People, what they're just spending on interest, rising more than 10 times as fast as it did in 08. You want proof people are struggling? It's right there. Inflation with record high interest rates, credit cards, auto loans, consumers are fighting inflation with debt. They're taking on more debt just to pay this off. And look at that. Look at that rise right there. Unbelievable. Look at the dip it took right here. It's because people paid off a lot of debt using that stimulus money. But still, it wasn't even at 2.5% and just skyrocketing up. Unbelievable. It's just, it's crazy. This is great. Look at all these rhinos not seeking re-election. What does this tell you? I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 21, 22 people, rhinos, not running again. What does it tell you when they're not running? It tells you that they know they don't have a chance anymore because the party is changing. MAGA has taken over the party, which gives me such great hope going forward that we're going to have a real party in the because right now there's a handful of Republicans that are great. Handful. There's 0 in the Democratic Party. There's a handful in the Republican Party. Most of it's bad. But this tells me that we're taking over the party. And it's becoming the party of the people. And I believe landslide's coming. And so it's gonna be great. We're gonna kick out these fakes and start something new. So that's just great that they're not even trying to seek re-election. They can see the writing on the wall. Just a great post I saw about Trump today. This Lance Wallnau, he's a great follow. I love this guy to death. But he's talking to Christians because there's a lot of Christians who still have problems with Trump because he's kind of mean. But get over the hissy fit you have with Trump. Truth is, Trump was never your Republican flavor, which is a good thing. Never been disillusioned with him because I had no illusions about him in the first place. I want Patton in this war, not Chamberlain. If you guys know what he's talking about, Neville Chamberlain's the one who gave Poland to Hitler. And Patton, of course, helped win the war. But it was the tough general that annoyed and offended a lot of people. That's exactly right. We want Patton to help us win this war. That's our revolution, guys. That's what my video is all about tonight. From now on, the theme of my channel is definitely going to be this more like we are fighting a revolution, and that's what we're going to be. We're fighting in our markets specifically, and in any other way we can. So. Commercial real estate just getting crushed still. American Banker reported the following CRE totals for the 5 banks. JP Morgan Chase, $173 billion exposed to CRE. That's insanity. Wells Fargo, $140. Bank of America, $82. US, $56. And PNC, $50. Unbelievable. This is going to crush the banks. The commercial real estate is plummeting right now. So get ready, guys. Some of the same hubris, willful blindness prevailed in the run-up to the subprime mortgage crisis, blew up large financial institutions in 08, is showing itself today in regard. They're equating this to the mortgage crisis of 08. They're saying that's what the commercial real estate crisis is right now. It's going to be the thing to blow up the banks. And there's no coming back this time. Well, it's coming back, but there's no preventing it this time. They have to let it happen. All right, and then okay, I started with that. So that's kind of all my stuff I wanted to go through. Let me catch up with you guys. What do I think of Dave Rubin? I think Rubin is a nice guy. I like a lot of what he says, but I also don't believe he's a true blue believer as far as like what it means to take back this country in like a conservative kind of populist way that we're fighting for right now. I think Rubin is a personality more than he is a true believer. That's what I think about Rubin. And yeah, I just don't trust him. Let me put it that way. Yeah, thanks, Matt. When the rhinos leave, won't the numbers favor the Dems? No, nope, not a problem. They're gonna leave. They'll be primaried, or they're not seeking those are not guys running right now for this election coming up. Those are in the future, 2026 and beyond. Are rhinos heading for the hills or underground bunkers? Hope it's a sign the party of the people's coming soon. Absolutely, Jeff. Do I think the Vatican's holding incredible secrets? Oh, yes, I do. As far as never see, I disagree. I think we will see most of them over time. Patton Eisenhower Trump for president. There you go. Ace of Drinking, you took advantage of it. I did. You did. All right, Jenny. God bless you. You are very loved here. Ban Matt. Okay, I'll work on it. Have a good night. What's my prediction? Probability for when SHTF money go burst scenario? Are you asking me when? Oh, shit hits the fan. That's what you're saying. Okay. I don't think they print this time. I've talked about this many, many times. And the thing is with the economy, when it goes down, they can't print unless they want hyperinflation. Well, they can't do hyperinflation if they want any chance at votes. They just can't. And right now, those in power in the Uniparty, they know that people are already at the edge, and they are scared because we got guns. This is not a typical country it's not Australia where you can lock us down. There's no fight back. We have guns. They are scared of us, and they cannot allow. They already know we're at the verge of rising up and rebelling, and that's why they're not going all out. That's why they're doing stuff a little bit at a time to slowly, it's ramping up. Don't get me wrong. But Jeff, you'd be amazed at how many people still aren't paying attention. It's sickening and sad. But if it gets to the point where all of a sudden a loaf of bread is $15, everybody will be woken up and they will lose everything quick. So they cannot allow that. And hyperinflation will be the result if they print or if they cut rates too soon. And they cannot do either if the economy collapses or if it crash comes. They have to go through. That's the only way they have this time. Also, the debt is much, much higher than it was last time. So I just don't see they can do it. I don't think they'll print. And they also might try, but I also don't think Powell is a fan of that idea. I really don't. I've been watching him very close now. Big B, your issue with Trump's he pushed the vaccine, he took credit. I agree with you. I hate that, but I subscribe to the belief that, Trump was anti-vaccine his whole life. You can go look at old tweets back from 2012 where Trump was anti-vaccine. He hates vaccines. So why would he all of a sudden, you just gotta, you gotta do a logical build here. Trump's anti-big pharma. He hates big pharma. Big pharma hates him. That's proven. He's the one who first got drug prices so low. So Trump hates big pharma. He hates vaccines. So why would he push this one vaccine so much? There's only one logical explanation. If you deduce everything, Trump's history, where he is now, what we went through. The only thing that makes sense is Trump knew the election was going to be rigged, which there's many, many clips of him saying that before the election happened. He knew it was going to be rigged, and he knew the only way that they wouldn't keep us locked down for 5-10 years if it was to get a vaccine out. There's also, now this is circumstantial evidence. There's no proof of this. I think hopefully someday it all comes out. But there's a lot of talk that a lot of that first batch was what's it called? There was just nothing in it. It was placebos. And it's interesting that the boosters are really when the health effects started happening, when people started getting boosters. So I don't know. This is conspiracy land. Nobody can say for sure. So if you just look at it, you're black and white, you just see the one thing and you're like, well, Trump said the vaccine's good, so I hate him. I get it. I get it. But I see a guy stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either this thing comes out or the next. Remember when it first came out, all the Democrats said don't take it. It's from Trump. They hated it. Why? They wanted the lockdowns more, because if they got the lockdowns, they could have completely remade our economy. They could have ruined all of us, but the vaccine took away all their opportunity to do that. So I hate the vaccine. I never took it. Thank God. I'm a pure blood. But the point is in my opinion, that was the only way to get us out of lockdowns with Biden coming in. So it was a lesser evil. And I think, and there are some proof of this, although it's not directly linked to Trump, but like there's nurses in Germany who got in trouble because they found out that they'd given placebos to like 70 people. They didn't want to give them the vaccine, stuff like that. So there was a lot of placebos going out, especially that first round. And then Trump never mandated vaccines, and he also never told anybody they had to take it, and he never really pushed the boosters. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But you do with that what you want. Is Ruben's lifestyle a big concern or tell for you? No, I know some hardcore conservatives that are gay. I don't like the whole surrogate, the gays buying babies thing. And he did do that, which I really don't like. I think that's pretty gross. I would have a beer with Ruben for sure. Northwest, Zillow gave you a 11,000 increase of value in your home this month. Oh, wow. Hold for the squeeze. That's funny. Yeah, I don't think the money printing's coming. I really don't. But just Mike, I should run for Congress. Listen, I don't have time. I struggle to have enough time for my family as it is. I couldn't do it. But maybe someday when my kids are older, I've thought about it. But it's got to be a calling. I don't want to just pursue it on my own. Northwest, military tactic, probe the enemy looking for weaknesses. Government's doing this by staging chaos events. I agree with you. I do. Yeah, Northwest, saline. Candace, you have to remember, everyone was scared. Nobody knew the harm the vaccine was going to cause. 100%. Yeah. Jeff, for me, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Trump is a skeleton. Rothschild saved him. Melania, revealing history. Netanyahu. It's possible, Jeff. Listen, this isn't going to help you probably. But for me, I very much believe in the spiritual side of things. I believe God speaks to us. I believe God speaks to a lot of people. I believe he speaks to anybody who's listening, but I also believe some people get special insight in what God's doing, like a prophetic, because I believe in prophets. I do. It's biblical. I believe in that my whole life. And I've seen enough where I'll never not believe it. Let me put it that way. You can never bring me enough evidence for me not to believe it, because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen when God speaks to me and I go tell somebody something that God told me about them, and they're like, how on earth did you know that? I've lived it. So I know it's true. But having said that, God told me about Trump when I didn't like him, and I did not like Trump. I grew up, my parents thought he was a joke. He was a hedonist. We didn't want anything to do with Trump ever. So when he was running for the Republican Party nomination, I thought it was a joke. I didn't want him, but God told me he was going to be president, and he was going to bring our nation into a new golden age. He told me Trump was going to find prayer. He was going to become a prayerful person. He was going to be changed while in office to become a believer. And God told me all kinds of stuff. And so far, everything God's told me about Trump has come true. The only last part being is he hasn't finished the job. And so I knew that before any of my friends did. All my Christian friends didn't want to believe it when I told them. I knew Trump was going to be Hillary. He did. I bet money on it. I made money off of it. So I'm telling you, and then as all the prophetic voices I trust, all have heard very similar things about Trump. And so he might have a skeleton. Listen, Moses had a skeleton. He killed a man. David raped a woman and murdered a man. And yet God knew their heart, and they did all have repercussions of their sin, but God, that didn't keep God from using them to accomplish his goals. So Trump's done some terrible things. I don't know if he's done illegal things, but I do think cheating on your wife's terrible. I think having 3 wives is pretty awful. But I mean, there's some exceptions to that, of course. But uh, I don't think he was ever a moral man until recently. But I don't think he's illegal, if that makes sense. And I do think he's chosen. I really do. And if you guys don't believe that, look at how every single time something bad happens to him, something amazing happens. Whether it's he's called a criminal, goes to court, and all of a sudden his polls shoot up, or a bond comes that's the biggest penalty in history. They're going to try to bankrupt him, seize his property, and on the same day, his bond gets cut by 2/3, and he makes upwards of $6 billion from a merger. You can't make this stuff up. The guy is Teflon, and it's not because of him. I think it's because he's divinely protected. So you can say that, you can believe it. I'm not going to change your opinion, but I can tell you why I believe what I believe, and I'm not worried about him at all. Northwest, you got the J&J job of saline. Oh, there you go. Jeff, hope it's not the case, but oh yeah, well, I already talked that. You'd vote Ace. Yeah, Kim Clement was spot on. Kim Clement prophesied Trump back in 2007. Crazy. So, Trump's history is involved for the greater good of humanity. There's a lot of good stuff in Trump's history, including, I do believe one of his family members was like friends with, what's his face? Not Tesla. I think so. Candace, they keep pushing the vaccine now, knowing what's done to people, knowing it doesn't even keep you from getting COVID. It's complete BS. Happy my family to amen. It's evil. So in my opinion, with the vaccine, I do believe in this whole World Economic Forum, Great Reset stuff. Okay, so I believe in that. And I believe they were going about it 2 ways. First of all was to keep the lockdowns going on. And I think they were going to let it go on for another decade or so. And they were going to try to starve us out and make us all go broke. So we had to go to a new economy. I really believe that was going to happen. The vaccine was the only way to get it out of there. And so I hate it, but I do think it was used for that. Number 2, I think their backup plan was to make the vaccine poisonous to try to kill us all. And thank God, isn't it amazing that Trump's followers, MAGA people, are, even though he created the vaccine, he didn't create it, but it happened on his watch. He promoted it. And yet it's his followers who are the most likely people to not get it. That shows you, if nothing else, everybody's like, MAGA's a cult. I'm like, you are so stupid. Every time I hear MAGA's a cult, I'm like, MAGA are the only free thinkers in this damn country. If your leader in a cult tells you to take something, you take it. Most people who are MAGA did not get the vaccine. And what does that tell you? That tells you that Trump's people are smart. And maybe he knew that when he was saying that. Just saying. Naked seller don't have pants on. Yeah. Northwest, there some batch info got leaked out. Your batch numbers on it. Wow. That's awesome, Northwest. That must have felt good. Government passes 1.2 trillion full of wasteful pork. MMTLP has to beg their money back. I know, straight cash. I'm so sorry for you guys. It'll happen, though. It'll happen. You just can't give up. Jeff, we see eye to eye. Warp Speed thing was a huge fail, though. Listen, Trump is not perfect. He's not. He's a flawed human being. And he's still got an ego the size of Alaska. All right. He does. And listen, but I've never met a perfect person. I know people who have been amazing spiritual Christians who have lives you would want to embody. And yet I've still seen them slip up. Not in huge ways, not in life destroying ways. It's not like they're cheating on their wives or something. But, it's the kind of thing where you snicker and you go, all right, you're not perfect. You know what I mean? Trump's a person and he's got an ego. And the longer you're away, like the great thing about Christianity and accepting Jesus is that we believe in change. We believe every person can change because of the grace of God. And that's the beauty of Christianity. It believes in forgiveness, believes in new beginnings. Every single person's entitled to that. Even if you're murder, even if you're Hitler, should he be in prison? Should he still get the death penalty? Yes. You still have to face the consequences of your sin, but does it mean you're going to go to hell? No. And so I do believe there's that's available for everybody if they turn their heart around. Trump, I believe, loves God. I really do. I've seen enough. But does that mean he's completely changed when for 60, 70 years he was an arrogant cuss running around doing his own thing, being kind of a playboy? No, it doesn't mean it's like those habits are hard to break. So, yeah, he says some dumb stuff sometimes, but I laugh every time he says it. And I shake my head and I say, well, that was dumb. But it doesn't change how I feel about him one iota. It just doesn't. Yukon won. Good for you, man. Congrats. Yeah, Candace, your family's proud to be MAGA. No jobs for us. This is no cult. Amen. Yeah. Jeff, I agree with you. And I think the number one thing Trump learned is that I think the number one thing he learned is to surround himself with better people. I really do. So I know, Big B, you're completely right. Linda, Ace, I heard what you said about Trump. Can't believe you and I have always thought and think the same thing about Trump. Yeah, I think it's a lot of people, honestly, because I think there's like some divine guidance on there. All right, guys, I need to call my wife. I'm just going to mute the mic and I'm going to say goodnight to her. So I'll be right back. All right. She wanted to say goodnight. She's out of town. Grab another beer, Jeff. Nice. Northwest. Trump talked about the 17 Spanish flu a lot before COVID. Avian bird flu is the main virus killing, not COVID-19. COVID's cover. I don't know if it was or not, but I do believe COVID was. There's a lot not said there. Jeff, you're not done listening to my thoughts. Beer make this guy blabbermouth. Yeah, I think I should go get another beer. I'm down right now. I'm down and out. Oh, you're good, Mario. Listen, there's a great thing about a live show, right? Who knows what'll happen? So, I tell you what, I just had somebody write me. Yeah, I might have a call in a second. So, yeah, all right. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to grab a beer and we're going to hang out. This is Thursday because I might not go live tomorrow. I might actually take the break off for Good Friday. So yeah, this would be a good opportunity for me to just go late. We already had ham. So I'm going to go grab another beer. I'll be back in like 45 seconds. Okay. Be right back. Oh, all right. What's up? How did I get my kids to bed so early? Well, today, since my wife's gone, they crack. Look at this, guys. This looks good. Hazy Wonder. Hazy yet bright with dazzling hops. Lagunitas. Since my wife's out of town, my mother-in-law took the kids and she wore them out. She had them playing outside all day, which I love. And so they got tired. That's good stuff. So let me see, this guy wants to call. All right, I have somebody who might be calling in. I don't know if you guys know Mark Lynch. Great guy. All right, hold on. I'm going to send him my number. All right. And then I'll open it up for anybody else too. You're not a mudblood. Good for you, honey. It took me 42.75 seconds. I told you, that's pretty good, right? That's pretty stinking good. All right, hold on. Mark, I assume.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Just living the dream one shift at a time.
Give us the good word.
Till our financial ship comes in, of course, and then
Absolutely.
It's whatever we want.
Yeah. So I'm going to introduce you real quick. For those who don't know, Mark's on Twitter. He's a great follow. He's also law enforcement down in old Louisiana. You're actually in New Orleans, right?
No, I was.
Okay.
I was. I did 6 years before I left.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Mark has great insight into kind of the crookery going on in our markets and also just in general. So go for it, Mark.
Yeah.
I know you got stuff to say.
We've talked before, but I've told Pedro and Al from Boston, at length, I don't believe that it's in the SEC and the federal government, Gary Gensler's best interest to kind of force anyone's hand with any of this until it's absolutely necessary or something happens that changes it so that it is in our best interest or their best interest to force whoever's hand to settle these trades.
Yeah.
Just look at today. Look at Sam Bankman-Fried. The feds wanted 40 to 50 years, and the judge gave him 25.
Yeah.
And that's federal time. And as someone who has literally seen federal time doled out, and I've said this on Space Calls before, there's two types of people in federal prison: the ones that make deals and the ones that wishes that they made deals.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they dole out federal time, more often than not, most of the time, you do every bit of it. You might get 10% off a good time if you cooperated, maybe 20%, maybe. But when the federal government brings a case against somebody, it's generally a slam dunk.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've seen the Bundys out in Oregon with the Malheur Wildlife Reserve when they took that over.
Yeah.
And then they arrested all that, but they dumped that on the Friday before Christmas. That's usually News Dump Friday. So tomorrow, I would say everyone listening, watch the news, even if you don't really want to, because tomorrow is going to be a day where it's Good Friday and it's a 3-day weekend and it's a holiday weekend. A lot of people don't pay attention to the news, so things that your local, state, or federal government really don't want to have out in the headlines will get dumped tomorrow right around 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way there's not as many eyes on it, and if anyone says anything, it's we were reported on it. What else do you want from us?
Yeah.
But they dump it on a 3-day weekend, usually on what I call News Dump Friday. I got that from Howie Carr, was a Boston radio show host when I was growing up. So I've always kind of paid attention on days like tomorrow for sure for the news. You'll see.
No, that's a good point. Well, look at what Adam Aaron did today, knowing it was the last day of the month trading, and last day of the quarter even. This is his big day. Unbelievable.
And if you look at who bought for pennies on the dollar, it's all shorts.
Yeah.
It's Citigroup, and there was a couple other ones. I watched Al's video this morning because I'm just getting off work. I had a detail after work, so. But yeah, it's just I'm so glad that I made. Well, I didn't make out, but I made out in so much as I had a check in the mail last fall from the Treasury, and my wife's like, "Hey, you got something from the Treasury?" And I was like, "Really? Open it." She was like, "It's a check." I was like, "What, for like $5.06?" And it was for, I'm not going to tell you how much it was for, but it was for, a couple grand, but I'm not going to tell you exactly how much, but it was, hey, we wrote off the rest of your student loans, and it was the money that was in escrow.
Are you serious?
So
That's awesome.
So I called and was like, "Hey, what's the story?" And they're like, "Well, you've been paying so long, and you meet the criteria, so we wrote off the rest of your student loans, and this is the money that was in escrow that we're giving back to you." But I had to claim that as earned income on my taxes last year,
Of course.
the amount that they wrote off. So what I did was I sold what AMC that I had left. I sold at a loss to offset the earned income.
Yeah.
And then I took the money that I could get out of my AMC shares, and I put it in something else. So I'm not at a total loss, but it was like, if ever there was a time to sell AMC at a loss, last year was the year to do it for me. And then it was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Because now I see what happened today, and I was just like, just reaffirmed, like, I did the right thing,
Did you write a letter with
disgusting.
a PS on it that said, "P.S. I'm still not voting for Biden"?
No, I'm so disgusted with the entire process. It's just like I sent you that thing about the 21 Congress people that are Republicans.
Yeah, I talked about that tonight. Yep.
Yeah, I saw. I had to have you on mute because I was dealing with something else, but I want to know how many Democrats are doing the same thing. And then I always wonder, like, what do these people know that we don't know? Because if you watch what Nancy Pelosi and Tommy Tuberville do, it's they're always like 60 to 90 days ahead of the trend. It's like they make out like bandits. So it's like, well, what do they know that they're not telling us?
On the Republican side, I think the vast majority of them know that they're not going to win their primaries now because MAGA's taken over, because they're all rhinos.
Well, yeah.
So that's what I think they are getting out for. But as far as the Democrats, I think they're doubling down. They're all trying to, if you look at who they've been running lately, they're just running more and more crazy people. They're
going to the extreme. Yeah. What's interesting that too is on some level that's going to play, like especially in like big cities.
Yeah.
But you have like these purple areas. Like, I really want to know what the internal polling. I'm curious to see what the internal polling says, both for the RNC and the DNC. And not only that, but like, I remember when Trump won way back, what was that, 2016 at this point? And like CNN, in a moment of like honesty and clarity on election night, were like, well, we've heard whispers for months that, he actually had an inside shot to win.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you didn't report on it until like it's very apparent now that he's going to win in about an hour when these two, states go to Trump. We're just waiting for the word.
Yeah.
But so now it's like, are they hearing the same whispers? Like, because every poll I'm seeing is like, yeah, his both their unfavorability ratings are like over 40%, but Biden's is like 60 in most of these polls. And I worked, especially in the city, like I worked with a lot of black guys. Like, that's just, the city of New Orleans is predominantly black.
Sure.
Police department's predominantly black.
Yeah.
And the amount of like officers I have that are friends that were black or are black that voted for Hillary and then voted for Biden that are now voting for Trump, like, I'm astonished.
Really? I love it.
It's like, if that's happening there,
in
New Orleans, in a city that hasn't voted for a Republican since, like, I don't know, the Civil War. Like, I literally think it was like the Civil War is the last time it happened.
Yeah.
Like, that can't be the only city. So it's like, how what's the trend really going to be like? And I think I always watch CNN on election night, not because I trust them, but because the Schadenfreude is just usually the truth. and then I'll go to like MSNBC, and Nada will be wearing black. And it's like, well, you already know. She's wearing black. You already know which way they think it's going to go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've been reading that Biden's internal polls are awful, and they know it, and they're freaking out. but he's so crotchety and old and crazy now that and I've been telling people this, he's not going to drop out and let somebody else come over because a couple things. A, he's too prideful. B, he's got to stay in order to not have to face the trials and stuff coming for him and Hunter. He has to protect his family by staying president. And they're just not going to swap him out. They want to, but everything I'm hearing says he's putting, like, him and Jill, they're refusing to step down.
Oh, I think that's more Dr. Jill than it is him. I mean, he barely knows what day it is. Like, you watch him wander off, and now I don't know if you saw last week, but they, like, when he does his little press junkets and his when he was going for the election 4 years ago, and he got challenged by some auto worker, and he was like, "Well, why don't we step outside and fight about it?"
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Wait, what?" And then the union goon had to step in between then candidate Biden and the guy wearing a hard hat.
Yeah.
Now it's someone asks a question they don't like, and they just end the event and they tell the press to get out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's over. Bye.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, you've taken 2 questions.
Yeah.
How are you rushing this guy off the stage? This is supposed to be the leader of the free world. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say it. The emperor's naked, bro. Like, he's not wearing any clothes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Did you see the SBF thing today?
Which one?
Well, him getting sentenced to 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
What
they wanted to give him 40.
Yeah. Well, he should have gotten life originally.
Well, they were asking for something like 100 years, but did Bernie Madoff get like 100 years or something like that?
Yeah, in his 70s.
Right. So Bernie Madoff gets like 100, which, by the way, and Major will back me on this next time it comes on, they still use the Madoff exemption. They call it the Madoff exemption.
Yeah.
With payment for order flow. Okay? So that tells you how screwed up our markets. So you sentence this guy to 100 years.
Yeah.
And you're still using this exemption.
Yep.
Meanwhile, SBF, like, I read going into my news, which I was kind of shocked. Really kind of came off apologies. SBF.
Hey, you're breaking up a little bit. I think your speakerphone, you might be getting a little further away from
No,
it.
I'm on headset. Hold on, I'm going by the Superdome right now.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
A dead area. You might. I'll break up for like 10 seconds. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. I was
Can
losing
you
a
hear me
little
now?
bit. Yeah, it's a little better. There's like a clicking.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, did I lose you?
How about now?
Yeah, oh, that's way better. Way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but SPF only got 25 years.
Yeah, I know.
And the amount of money that he stole and squirreled away and knows that people are actually going to get back was just as much, if not more, than Madoff. But I guess Madoff is in the jail.
Sorry, man, you're breaking up again. I lost you.
Good old New Orleans.
Huh?
I said it's probably good old New Orleans.
Yeah.
They have all these dead cells in the city.
Oh man, yeah, it sucks.
I'm about to get past the last one, and then we should go.
Okay, no problem. I'll catch up with a couple people on here while you're doing that. Brett, yeah, as long as we don't get Newsom. Newsom would never carry a swing state. The swing states hate Newsom because he's a Californian. So they'll never everybody thinks Newsom, he's slick, he's charismatic, but he'll never carry a swing state. So I don't worry about him at all. And
Gavin with the good hair?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's I mean, the thing I always throw back at him is, he's one of the guys who was in the forefront of all the COVID lockdowns, and then he's not abiding by any of them.
Oh,
and they got him on tape more than once.
Oh, yeah. He was at the French Laundry just chilling with his buddies.
Right. I mean, $1,000 a plate, but who cares, right? Oh, his winery stayed open, though.
Yeah, the whole time.
And you know what else kills me about him is, who's his ex-wife?
Oh, Well, was she a wife or a friend? I thought, or a girlfriend, Christina Guilfoyle?
No. Yeah, they were married.
They were
once
married?
upon a
Oh,
time.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's with Don Jr. now.
Exactly. And they're on. They
Oh,
could
yeah.
be on.
They got
they're gonna be on
all the
opposite sides of
dirt.
campaign.
All the dirt. Well, that's what I say with Michelle Obama. If she really is a trans, then they don't want to run her because a national campaign that will become one of the biggest things going around. And they don't want to face
call
it.
it Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike.
I don't know. I don't know. That's, I'm not going to subscribe to that. That's just a little too out there. It is kind of weird though that you've never seen a photo of her pregnant.
Yeah, it's also
Given
kind
the
of
fact
weird
that
that
they've been
she's
in the public
like
eye.
twice as big as Barry.
Hey, whatever. Trump's married some tall women.
Yeah, but they don't look bigger than him.
They
They
haven't
might be
built like they
tall.
haven't been built like middle linebackers. So,
Exactly. Her shoulders are bigger than mine. And I was an athlete.
Well, I mean, I'm so disgusted with our elected leaders. Dr. Evil Finger quotes the leaders. It's just I don't. Can you honestly think of more than maybe 5 elected officials in DC that you would want to sit down and have a meal with? I can't.
I mean, it'd be close. I'd be like Rand Paul,
You're pushing it
Matt
at 5.
Gates.
Yep.
If I was single, Lauren Boebert. Yeah. There's not many. You're absolutely right about that.
I wouldn't want.
Oh, Josh Hawley. That guy's awesome.
Who?
Josh Hawley.
Yeah, I like Clay Higgins because he's not my rep from Louisiana, but he's from down here, and I mean he's kind of he can be a little out there, but he just makes me laugh. But man, I'm so disgusted with this process is really like, and I mean I've known, not corruption, I won't say corruption, but just like how screwed up the public sector is from working in it for 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And I know you're not really like a fiery, sweary kind of guy, but like when things happen and like things that don't make the news and then like it's whispered about, because like we all talk, I'll just say like that's just fucked up enough to be true. Like because it's usually that's the way it goes. Oh, this wasn't supposed to happen, but not only did it happen, but then the mayor's son kind of gets the skate. Like, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Or the vice president, the president's son. We find cocaine in the White House. We have no idea.
Unbelievable.
But
unbelievable.
Like Ann Coulter said on Bill Maher, by not telling us
who
did it, you're telling us.
You're telling us exactly. Yeah. Well, they think we're stupid, and it's because if you go back even, God, I mean, how far back would you have to go? 10 years, 15 years? You go back and there was still even like 60% of Republicans trusted the media pretty much like as their source, Yeah. Like it's pretty much a recent development. That's why the media can't figure out why we don't trust them because it happened so fast. But they used to have control of everything. I was one of those people. I really was. Like, I used to laugh at conspiracy theories. I used to be like, you guys are crazy. Like, yeah, there's probably more corruption than we think, but it's not like that, And now I'm like, it's hard to find conspiracy theories I don't find credible.
give it 6 months. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's proven to be true.
Yeah.
I remember I was a rookie in the city, and I was the first person on a murder, like shooting, and so then I get off and I go home and I throw the news on and I'm like, look, I'm on TV, and then that's weird, like the first time it happens, and then you're like, you hear the report of the call that you were the first person at the scene of, and I'm like, that's not at all what happened. Who are you getting this from? Like, I'm not allowed to speak because, departmental policy and everything. But it's like, that's not even close. That's not even, like, it's so wrong. It's not even funny. It's like, that's every day. there's stuff that's reported on every day that people just take as gospel. That's so wrong, but they don't even know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they just were like, oh, I like Channel 5 because I like that, that anchor.
Yeah.
I really like that anchor. I think she's dynamite. And then it turns out that it's wrong. And you're never going to hear just how wrong it is, because when they retract it, it's like, you print the headline on, above the fold on page 1, and then the retraction's like on page 57.
Oh, yeah.
It's buried.
Yeah. You remember in, was it it was like the early 2000s and 90s, even before that, but especially at that time, there was like 5 or 6 anchors who would get the evening news, the national news, and they were a big deal. It was like Katie Couric and Ted Koppel, Brian something. Can't remember his name.
Brian Gumbel?
No, not Brian Gumbel. It was another Brian, but anyways, my parents loved him, even though they knew he was kind of like a left-leaning guy. They just thought he was so trustworthy, and my parents were hardcore conservative. But they loved him, and they were like, because my parents still, and I grew up in this, they still believed, like, if they read something about somebody, that it would be like different beliefs, but hey, he's still, he was raised Episcopalian. He's still got to be a good guy, like,
right.
Like there was no idea at all of how these people aren't even like people anymore once they get into that level. Usually, at least not on the level that you and I are people. They're so disconnected from reality. Brian Williams, thank you, Brett. Yeah, my parents love Brian Williams. There was like a big deal. He went to NBC or something. They were like, "Oh, we're so excited to watch Brian Williams on NBC." Like, I can't
Meanwhile,
even. It's so crazy.
Isn't that the guy that like lied about he was in a war zone and got shot at? Then it was proven, and then I think he had to resign, or he like retired after that. I'm fairly certain that's what happened.
Was that the?
He said he was like getting off of a helicopter and it got shot at, or
he lied
like
about
that.
he lied about getting shot on a helicopter in Iraq.
Yep, and I was just like, what? Like, why do you gotta lie about that?
Well, it's like Dan Rather, when Dan Rather lied about the George Bush stuff right before the election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was proven to be, bogus. Yeah. And it's just like, and then he went away in disgrace, kind of, but then kind of all sense of forgiven because,
yeah,
when push comes to shove, it's like,
well,
go my team.
It's bad when they have to force out from a position one of their beloved ones, And Rather was like, my parents, I keep going back to my parents because they actually watched the news. I didn't, I just filtered it through them. I always was a reader because I grew up on the internet, so,
right.
But my parents would always, but they loved, on election nights, they loved watching Dan Rather because he had all the middle, like, country folkisms as he talked. And they were like, yeah, we know he's a lefty, but man, he's just so funny. And I was like, he's
one of the good ones.
I can't even think like that anymore. It's like, but back then that was normal. You'd disagree with somebody, but you'd be like, even if they're on TV, you'd be like, yeah, but we don't agree with their politics, but they're not bad people. They're trustworthy people. And now I'm like, oh, they're awful.
Yeah, I think that all kind of started right around like 2008, 2009. I remember I remember George Bush getting shoes thrown at him.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, it wasn't really a big deal. And I'm like, how can you say that that's not a big deal when if someone would have taken a opponent at Obama, it would have been wall-to-wall coverage.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like, as soon as he got elected, D.C. was him.
Yeah.
He was on the cover of Rolling Stone on the beach. Then his buddy got arrested up in Boston.
Yeah.
And then they had the beer summit. And then
the beer summit. I forgot about that. That was so stupid.
I didn't because I'm from up there.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh,
and
my
I
God.
was like, that was me, like, trying to become a cop up in Massachusetts, like, in the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
And, come to find out, Skip Gates, like, he's had multiple, little brushes with the law, and it always kind of goes away because he's got some clout.
Yeah.
He's got a little PBS show. And he's in the in crowd, so things tend to go away from people that are in the in crowd.
Yeah.
And then it was like, that's what it was. I don't know all the facts. I'm paraphrasing, but I don't know all the facts about the Cambridge police acting stupid. Meanwhile, they did everything by the book and it was proven that they did.
Yeah.
But that didn't matter. And then it was hands up, don't shoot. And if I had a son, he looked like Trayvon.
Yeah.
And we were kind of off to the races. And after that, it became very tribal. It was like, there was no more, he's a lefty, but he's a good lefty. It was like, we need to win, and we need to win at all costs.
I agree with you. I think what happened then, though, is that what happened is the big networks lost their trustworthiness. But what happened is the rise of Fox News during that time. And that was when
because that was the one network at the time.
Exactly. It was like Glenn Beck and O'Reilly were the only ones, like, in Hannity. We were like, oh man, I tuned in for them for truth, and it was
meanwhile, they're just, they've been proven to be just as full of shit at times as everybody else.
Yeah, for the most part, at least. I mean, they have their own agendas. It's kind of like what's going on with Daily Wire right now. Like, it's not that I don't love half the stuff or 75, 80% of the stuff coming out of their mouths, but I also know they're bought and paid for by, the Zionists. And, Glenn Beck has his, like, a lot of people were exposed this year, and I think Trump was exposing them beforehand, but it really ratcheted up this year when so many jumped behind the whole Ron DeSantis thing. And it was like, what are you guys doing? Like, this guy's funded by Ken Griffin, like, but that exposed so many more on the right side, how many media people were.
I've been saying for years that the RNC and the DNC are nothing more than political cartels.
Yeah,
they do not have the voters' best interest at heart.
Nope.
They are a bought and paid for organization through mega donors to get their candidates, elected. And I remember when Tulsi Gabbard left, you can say what you want about her, but when she went on Rogan, she said when she got DC, it was like, oh, you want to be on the Armed Services Committee, Miss Tulsi Gabbard, who has served in the military and has been deployed overseas? Cool. You need to raise X number of funds for the DNC so that we can seat you on that committee. She's like, what? I'm qualified to be on that committee.
Yes.
Yeah, cool story, homie. But you still gotta pay the piper. So you need to get this phone book out. Here it is.
Yeah.
You need to start dialing numbers, and when you hit your number, you let us know. We'll get you on that committee.
Yep.
And it's like, that's how screwed up it is. And it's just, again, it's just screwed up enough to be true. So I believe her.
Oh yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that comes out of her mouth, but
no. She's kind of left. She's a lefty, but she's a good lefty, and what I mean by that is she's honest. And I disagree with her policy positions a lot, but I do believe she loves our country, and I believe she loves the people. And that's, to me, like right now, that's what we need more than anything. And I've said it. I don't want her to be VP because I'm scared if she could become president, but I would love her to be in the administration, if Secretary of State or something.
I really think if Trump gets reelected, that he's going to have a tough time filling his cabinet.
He's going to have a tough time what? Filling his cabinet?
Filling out a cabinet, yeah.
Because I agree.
He's burned so many bridges and made so many enemies the last go through.
I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying, but I think they've been planning it for 4 years, so I think he already knows.
Yeah, but I mean that's like, all right. So say you're right. That's day one.
You mean getting voted though?
Cabinet.
Yeah.
Like there's so much turnover.
I'll say this though, the Republicans, man, they are falling in line fast because I think they see what's coming, and they're doing one of two things. They're either dropping out, like all these Republicans who aren't running anymore, or they are falling in line and starting to kiss his shoes, being like, hey, don't throw me out. I'll fall in line. I've been seeing that in a lot of people. Look at Ben Shapiro. He's super anti-Trump. He came out the other day saying how, like, there's all these reasons why he's going to start fighting for him like never before, and paying it, like donating to the campaign. They're falling in line. A lot of them. You want to
stay in D.C. and make 6 figures a year, or do you want to have to go back home?
Exactly.
To whatever jerkwater burg you're from, and
Yep.
work for, have a real job.
Yes. So the Republicans who stay, who we know are kind of rhinos, they're still going to vote Trump's agenda, even if they wouldn't have before. That's what I think is happening.
Did I ever tell you my Trump story?
No.
Okay, so I think it was 2019. So I worked the Sugar Bowl in the Superdome, and it was LSU against Auburn.
Okay.
And President Trump was in town to flip the coin.
Wow, nice.
Okay, so I park in the lot and I walk to the dome, and I'm walking in. There's just Secret Service, K9, all these extra dudes. I'm like, this is awesome. This is the safest place in the world. So I usually worked up in the club seats, and then the guy who was running the detail was he said, Lynch. And he gave me my assignment. It was Northeast Pencil on the field. And I just looked at him and I was like, what the, what? I've never worked the field before. And he just said, don't worry about it, see me after. So I was like, Cap, what are you doing? I've never worked. He's like, I need you there tonight. I'm like, what? I don't even know how to get there. What are you doing to me? He was like, I'll get you there. I need you there tonight. Okay? And I was like, all right, got it. So I'm there. I'm on the field. I'm 2 arms lengths away from College game day, and they're doing their their broadcast for the game, and I got all these people walking in and out, and Vince Vaughn comes over and introduces himself to me, and I meet Vince Vaughn, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then Cole House from Yellowstone walks by me. And, I talked to him for 10 minutes. And he actually filmed his first movie. It's called School Ties, and filmed it up in my hometown. So we chatted for he couldn't have been nicer. I got a photo with him and everything, which I'm not really supposed to do. But whatever, I'm not there anymore. I can't get held accountable. So I'm glad-handing with all these celebrities and shit. And then all of a sudden, this mousy lady in a gray suit walks up to me, and she's got a lanyard around her neck. And she goes, excuse me, officer, if you could breathe. And I was like, is this when you tell me the leader of the free world's coming out of my tunnel?
No way.
And she says it is. And I go, shit. That's a big responsibility.
That's crazy.
So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, what time? And she says 7:02. So I look at my watch and it's 6:51. I go, okay, what time do you have? Because it doesn't matter what time, Officer Lynch's watch says. It matters what time the White House watch says. Yeah. So she told me it was 6:53. So I'm like, all right, I got 8 minutes. So then Secret Service comes over and they're like, look, when we give you the signal, no one in or out. So I'm like, all right, great. So they give me the kill sign, and then College game day goes off the air. And now I have Mark Sanchez and Jimbo Fisher and the makeup lady and all these people trying to get. I'm like, you can't come through.
Look at you name dropping.
You can't come through. The tunnel is shut down. No one in, no one out. So they're finally they figured out Trump's coming. So then the lights go down and I'm holding everyone back, and I look behind me and all I can see is the wig and the red tie and Melania's iridescent dress with the light show they got going on.
Uh-huh.
And I'm 2 arm lengths away, and he comes out of the tunnel, and I saw it on TV, and I'm just off screen. So I showed my wife. I was like, "See that right there? That's me, right where you can't see, right there, literally right there, on the other side of where the camera ends." She's laughing, and so he comes out, he does the coin flip, the whole place is going crazy, and 4 more years, the whole deal, and then all of a sudden, I see a Marine in full dress blues walking straight at me. So what's my job right now? No one in, no one out, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I got the football, dude. And I looked down at his wrist, and he had the briefcase.
Oh my
handcuffed to
God,
him.
that's unreal.
And because he can't be within, he's got to be within so many feet of the president.
Yeah, yeah.
And next time you watch an inauguration, when that dude walks away from the current president and goes stand with the new president,
yeah,
that is literally when the shift of power and the new president has taken office.
So
the rest of
crazy.
it's for show.
Wow.
So I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's all good. So I let him go. They leave. Secret Service is after you see us leave, give me like 90 seconds, then you can open it up. That's exactly what happened. So
Wow.
I'm like that's just wild, you know.
Wow.
That I was on the field for that. Yeah, true story.
That's awesome.
I got some good ones. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
Did you call his hair a wig?
Not to him, but I mean, I just did now. Like I saw the wig. I'm like, wow, that's really him right now. This is crazy. And for the record, if anyone watched this, if it would have been Obama or Biden, I would have taken it just as seriously. Like,
Sure. You have
that's
to.
my job.
You have
you know?
to. Yeah, you
Like,
have to. I've always said
thought it
too,
was
like
just
if
as
I
cool.
met President Obama in person, I'd be respectful. I'd have a beer with him. You know, I'm not gonna be a dick to his face, but
Right.
you know, it's like he's history. You know, it's not my job. My job is what I'm doing now. I spread what I believe. I share information. I hopefully allow him to never come back into power. But if it's one-on-one, that's not my job. That's not what is going on right there. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. 100%.
Yeah, totally cool. It was just like one of those things like I'll remember for the rest of the
That's awesome, man.
You know,
I'm jealous. That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Did
True story.
did Melania look as good in person?
No contact. You can read into that however you like.
Your wife listening?
She could be. I have no idea. I'm coming home, babe. I love you. On the way home right now. Should be home in about 20 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah. So I will say this before I go, because I know there's other people that are going to call in.
Sure.
We've talked about Lou a couple times in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Like things that I remember he said over the years. And there were plenty. A lot of it was wrong. A lot of it was right. But I mean, you put content on every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to hit a home run every time.
Yeah.
I remember he was very big on if a short squeeze occurs. He always said it was going to happen on a Monday or a Tuesday after a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
What are we going into right now?
You're right. Yeah. 3-day weekend.
So I'm not saying next week's the week or anything. I'm just saying it's 3-day weekend. And if something does go kind of Louie, like, the freaking Puerto Rican was right again. God bless.
I mean, I give it to him. Lou was right about a lot of stuff. Where he lost me was at when he bailed on GTI and the Cosm stuff.
Yeah.
That was back to back, and then also there was a I started getting into a lot of I actually started around that time is when a lot of people started talking to me who were insiders in all this going on, and that's when they started telling me about not as much Lou, but the guy, the Greek guy, Bill, that he was friends with, all kinds of just bad news. And so the combination of that is why I stopped watching him. But I give credit to Lou on a lot of things. He called a lot of stuff on AMC. He's the reason I got out and did not lose nearly what I could have lost. He's the first one who called out Adam Aaron. I mean, he knew that Ape was going to be a disaster. So there, he deserves a lot. He got me into GTII in the first place. So, I'm not going to say anything bad about the Dead. There was disagreements at the end. I stopped watching him, but Lou did a lot of good for me. And he also, he was one of the funniest dudes I've ever listened to. I mean,
I miss him. He was my constant companion for almost 2 years.
Oh, me too,
I have
man.
an hour-long commute. Like, I would be like, wake up. How many Lou videos am I listening to while I shave?
Oh my God, absolutely. Dude, you know how weird it was whenever he did a day where he didn't put a video, because he usually put up like 5 or 6. Those were like empty days. I was like, what's going on?
I remember when he was like, for the whole weekend, you send me a video and I'm going to put you on my channel.
I remember those, yeah.
And my video got double the amount of hits of everybody else's. Like, I was like,
funny.
why? What's so special about me? Why am I getting 40,000 clicks over like the next guy who had like 28,000 clicks or whatever it was? Like,
you got the gift of gab, Mark. You got the gift of gab.
I'm just some dude. Go.
It's
Maybe,
it's the Boston accent.
Yeah, that's probably. But yeah, I missed the hell out of them. And you know what's crazy? Like, I think I sent it to you. I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but remember when he was talking about my Gigi and Robot Godzilla, and it's going to crush the market?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They finally passed, T+1 or whatever, and then it was like, yeah, but it's not going to be affected really until like 2 years from now. Like, well, it's 2 years from now, and it's finally getting implemented.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
It's wild. Like, I'm just here to see all this shit come down.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because his videos would be off the reservation.
Oh my God. And some of the stuff he said just made me laugh. He did, I'll never forget this because it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, is when monkeypox is going around. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And he found the guy doing the diary about going through monkeypox.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
I laughed so hard I cried. Like my sides hurt, and that is still just probably the funniest thing I've seen in the last 5 years.
I just remember my buddy sending me his first video. Was like, check this idiot out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy? He was like, he's got a bunch of them. It was like day 3. And I was like, this guy's got like 30 videos out. Let me watch this shit. And it was like, that was it. I was in. And then he left and he came back and I was in. And he left. I was like, I'm in. Like, this guy's hilarious. I'm in. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Exactly. So rest in peace,
listen,
Lou.
if you like my tomfoolery and you're so inclined, at I am Mark Lynch, all one word on Twitter.
I got you pulled up on my stream. They can see it on the screen. So guys,
So,
drop Mark a like and a follow. So he's good stuff. And I'll be having you on more. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Later, bro.
Later.
All right,
See
bye.
ya. That's a good dude, Mark. Good dude. All right, guys. Hey, I'm at almost 3 hours, but I tell you what, I will do. That post is still on there. So if any last person wants to call in, I'll do one more call if you guys want. If not, no big deal. I'll start finishing up here. But just going through stuff. Mark's a great guy. He's got all kinds of good stuff. Walks in the park. The duck. Oh yeah, the duck. The duck is so funny. Yeah, Lou gave us a lot of memories, man. And I haven't watched him in over a year. I barely I check in every once in a while, but yeah, lots of memories. It sucks he died. It really does. Him and Tony, it's like there's very few people who do the content, right? And the content obviously is needed in order for these fights to keep going on. They're needed. I mean, I get it. I know that I have an audience now that I get it all the time when I'm not on. Hey, when you going live, you coming on tonight? We could use some pick me up. So I get it. I understand just the fact that I do this encourages people. And I know that's necessary because I've lived it. I was there. Lou was my guy for AMC. I had that with him. There's very few of us. And so I know what it means. And so it sucks that he's gone because, we don't want to lose any of them who, like him or not, he was on the side of retail. And I do believe that. So am I going to pull William? No, I'm not. I got stuff I got to do tomorrow. I can't stay on much longer. But jab related to Lou, I highly doubt Lou got the vaccine, but who knows? Maybe he got stomach cancer. So, it was pretty awful. And then he had a surgery and he got a infection and he died from that. So pretty terrible stuff, honestly. Not the way you want to go. It's awful. He looked terrible in the last days. Yeah, Trading Desk Talk was great. No, Lou gave me a lot of good memories for sure. One of these days I'll play, if I can find it. He's got so many damn videos, it takes forever to go through his stuff. But if I can ever find the monkeypox videos, I'll play them because they are so funny. They're so funny. I'm telling you, it's like the funniest thing. That guy made me laugh so much. All right, Paulie, what's up, buddy? Love you too, buddy. Well, I can't believe you guys stayed with me so long. I think this is the longest live I've ever done. Maybe the New Year's Eve live was a little longer, but I think this might be the longest one. It's been fun. I appreciate you guys sticking it out. Please, 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 before you leave, like. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you're not already. And like I said, I'm going to be more focused going forward. Ham's focusing on finger. I'm focusing on the fact this is our year, 2024. This is a year we break the markets for the good guys. We win our squeeze plays, and we get our country back in our election and in other areas. This is our revolution. And I'm going to be focused on that a lot more going forward because we have to win this. We don't have a choice. If we don't win this year, you never stop fighting. But if we don't win this year, it's going to be ugly. The fight is going to get so much harder. It doesn't mean we won't win, but it might not be us that win. It might be our kids or something. This is our chance to win on us, our generation. We have to. This is our year. So I believe that with all my heart. It's so bad right now, but we have a special chance to do this. We really do. So, yeah, Deef, you're right. Yeah, stress can kill. Mark, absolutely. Bless the First Amendment 5. What's that, Jeff? Freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. And what's the fifth one? I'm missing the fifth one. You're hoping for a YouTube check this month watching you? What do you mean a YouTube check? What do you mean? Oh, because you watch so much? That's funny. Hope MMTLP, I still feel like you guys are going to get it this year. Yeah. So, yeah. And this is all my members. If you aren't a member, guys, listen, I only ask for $3 a month to follow me on here, get extra content. That's it. And you support the channel where I do a lot of stuff. Oh, fair trial. Thank you, Anthony. Dude, freaking A, man. You haven't drank enough where you forgot that, huh? But Anthony, you're coming on soon. We're talking crypto because I got a lot of people who want to hear what you guys say. But yeah, we got to get Trump in, guys. Listen, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. I might take a day off, but I'll definitely be on again this weekend. But I'll probably take Easter Sunday off. So members, you'll get a live on Saturday, or maybe late Sunday. We'll see. Not quite sure, but anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Saturday, I also plan on launching my other channel because I'll have two. This one will stay the same, but the other one will be more religious focused and viewing the world through that lens. So I know there's probably 1/3 of my audience that's interested in that, and that's enough for me to start a new channel. So I keep it there mostly. Because the YouTube algorithm, frankly, I would post it here, but the YouTube algorithm just, once you create a channel and they know what you like and you're doing, if you try anything new, they hate it. So I'm going to spread that out. But so anyways, I'm going to be broadening that out this weekend. Keep an eye out. But in other words, I'm going to take off. Love you guys. It's been almost 3 hours. This was fun. Had a great time tonight. Ham, Mark, and a lot of other good stuff. So no markets tomorrow, so everybody take the day off, go enjoy yourself, enjoy the sun. It's Easter weekend, man, new beginnings. So God bless, and let me say a quick prayer and we'll head out. Father God, thank you for all you're doing. Thank you, God, for sending your son and just to save us all who will accept it. And thank you for what you're doing in the markets, the world, all over. Thank you for President Trump. Protect him, and pray that nothing can stop what's coming with him. And God, let us all be a part of taking our country back this year. Our markets, our country, our families, our wealth, all of it. I just pray that this is a year that all comes to a head and we break through. And bless everybody here in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Silent. Welcome to the membership, man. Rhapsody acronym. All right. Well done, Jeff. Well done. All right. Well done, William. You guys are funny. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great night.